Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Spiritual Chi Recovery. I have a universal synthesis table. Chapter 26. This should be the pill pattern, which only appears on extremely rare pills. Su Mengran was quite well informed, and explained for Jang Yan beside him. Dan Wen. Although Wang Xiaoming didn't understand, Su Mengran already spoke, so it's still fake. Jang Yan, tell me quickly, what is the effect of this elixir, and how much do you plan to sell it for? Wang Xiaoming asked impatiently. It's just for strengthening your physique, and there are no side effects. As for how much it will cost, I'm not sure yet. Why don't you try it out first, and we can talk about the price later. Jang Yan has never taken the second-grade Qingyudan himself, so he is not sure about the specific effect. But judging from the effect of the third-grade green jade pill, it must be much better than the effect of the third-grade yellow jade pill in terms of strengthening the body. The reason why the evolved version of Huang Yudan can strengthen the physique is entirely the incidental effect of washing the tendons and cutting the marrow. And Qingyudan is specifically aimed at physique. There is a specialization in the surgery industry, and the effect is of course different from that of Huang Yudan. Are you really willing to let me try it first? Wang Xiaoming was immediately moved when he heard this, and Jang Yan was not afraid that he would not admit it after eating. This was a sign of complete trust in him. Of course, Jang Yan said with a smile. Hey, then I won't be polite. Wang Xiaoming took the elixir, uncorked the bottle, and poured the elixir directly into his mouth. It tastes good. Wang Xiaoming clicked his mouth, as if he was still savoring the deliciousness of that moment. In the next second, his cheeks flushed suddenly, and the fat all over his body could not cover up the bulging veins on his body. It's a bit fierce. Sweat quickly appeared on Wang Xiaoming's forehead, and the muscles on his arms trembled slightly, as if he was enduring great pain. Jang Yan knows that this is a sign of rapid strength improvement in a short period of time. Seeing Wang Xiaoming like this, his strength has increased by at least 800 kilograms. After a while, Wang Xiaoming finally breathed a sigh of relief and wiped the sweat off his face. Don't say it, it's quite refreshing, much better than taking Shishui pill. How do you feel? Jang Yan asked leisurely. Wang Xiaoming clenched his fists. His eyes were full of excitement. Good guy, I feel that my one-handed strength has at least doubled. I have to find a training hall to test it out today. 500,000, remember to pay. Jang Yan directly reported a number. So expensive. Wang Xiaoming stared. Just now he thought that Jang Yan was a kind person, and he was willing to let him try it first. After a long time, don't try to buy and sell by force. The equipment for the school test yesterday hasn't been withdrawn yet. You can tell the teacher and you will know if it is worth the money if you go to test it. Jang Yan is absolutely assured of the effect of his elixir. But for a high school student, the price is indeed beyond imagination. That's why he was willing to let Wang Xiaoming try it first, otherwise the elixir would definitely not be sold. Okay, I'll give you the money after the test. Wang Xiaoming rushed out of the classroom. Jang Yan turned his head, only to find that Su Mengran was staring at him. Why, you also think I'm handsome today? Jang Yan raised his eyebrows and said half-jokingly. Smelly shameless. Su Mengran couldn't help giving Jang Yan a supercilious look. She felt that Jang Yan was more mysterious than she imagined. The elixir that Jang Yan gave Wang Xiaoming just now is definitely not available in the market, so she can only go to the auction to try her luck. But Jang Yan is also a martial artist himself, and he can't use enough good pills by himself, so how can he sell them for money? Unless he has extra in hand. Wang Xiaoming missed it this time. 10 minutes later, Wang Xiaoming rushed into the classroom in a hurry. Brother, you will be my brother from now on. I went to test it just now, and my one-handed strength has actually increased by nearly 1,000 kilograms. I never dreamed that a pill can have such a good effect. Wang Xiaoming, the excited facial features were deformed, and he couldn't describe his current mood in words. 500,000 is worth it. Jang Yan said with a smile. It's worth it, I'll transfer the money to you right now. Wang Xiaoming quickly took out his mobile phone and transferred 500,000 to Jang Yan, and then asked, do you still have the elixir just now? I want to give it to Jang Yan again. Buy a few. As the college entrance examination is approaching, where can he find such a good medicine? If you get a few more, you might be able to reach 3,000 kilograms with one hand. Wouldn't it be better to keep a few million in your hands to get into a key university by then? These days, as long as you have the strength, do you still worry about not making money? Yes, there are, but I have to remind you that the first pill of this kind of medicine has the best effect, and the effect will gradually decrease after that. If you want to eat a few pills, it will be impossible to directly add 5,000 kilograms. Jang Yan explained the disadvantages to Wang Xiaoming in advance, so as not to be accused of selling fake medicines. I understand this. What kind of pill is not like this? Wang Xiaoming said immediately. Okay, then I'll bring you over tomorrow. After finishing speaking, Jang Yan continued. You can also recommend Gao Yang and Shu Li, they are quite rich now. No problem, leave it to me. Wang Xiaoming patted his chest and said. For the time being, Jang Yan only intends to do business with acquaintances. If you really want to sell it in the Lingwu Hall, the appraisers don't know this kind of medicine, and it's hard to explain it when you ask. After all, although the name of the elixir processed by the synthesis table is still the same as before, but with the word, advanced version, the effect is very different from the original version. For example, for the advanced version of Huang Yudan, the difference in appearance from ordinary Huang Yudan is not as big as that of Qing Yudan. If he told others that this Huang Yudan has the function of washing marrow pill, they might think there is something wrong with him. But Huang Yudan didn't plan to sell it either. This kind of elixir that can directly change the cultivation physique is better to keep for yourself. You can still make money selling other things. In the afternoon, both Shu Li and Gao Yang came to him to order several second-grade green jade pills. Wang Xiaoming also ordered 3. In the evening, obviously I have to go to Lingwu Hall again. After school, Jang Yan went to find a hotel near the school to check in. He decided to live here temporarily before the college entrance examination. Anyway, there is nothing in the rental house, except for a few sets of clothes, which he has put in the inventory, and other daily necessities are optional. It doesn't cost much to replace them all with new ones. Afterwards, Jang Yan took a taxi to Lingwu Hall. He directly bought 10 bottles of Huang Yudan and 10 bottles of Qing Yudan. These are enough for him to synthesize in the next period of time. Sir, the amount you have spent in our spiritual martial hall this month has exceeded 300,000, meeting the minimum requirements for participating in the auction. Tonight at 7 o'clock tonight, there will be an auction on the top floor of our spiritual martial hall. If you are interested, you can go directly there. The shopping guide suddenly reminded Jang Yan after packing all the pills. Auction. Hearing this, Jang Yan's thoughts moved. Although the Lingwu Hall sells many types of goods, the real good things can only be seen at the auction. This is well known. However, I have always heard that there are conditions to enter the auction of Lingwu Hall. I didn't expect it to be triggered automatically because I spent too much money. He thought that the Spirit Martial Hall would send out invitations to those rich people. The minimum consumption of 300,000 is not too high. Anyway, if you are idle, so go and have a look. Thinking of this, Jang Yan put away his things and took the elevator to the top floor. On the top floor of Lingwu Hall, in addition to the innermost auction venue, there is also a huge open-air platform outside. There is a rest area here. Before the auction starts, guests can eat, drink tea, have snacks, or even have barbecue here. Of course, the consumption is not low. Jang Yan happened to have no dinner. He found a place to sit down, then ordered 2 bottles of beer and 20 kebabs. This little thing alone cost him 2,000 yuan. Although the barbecue is made of high-quality spirit mutton, it is definitely not cost-effective in terms of cost performance. 2,000 yuan, buy it yourself, you can bake a lot. But Jang Yan is not short of money now. It's not bad to enjoy the life of the rich. At this moment, a gust of fragrant wind came, and immediately a girl wearing a tight leather skirt appeared in his sight. Handsome guy, other places are full, can I sit across from you? With a white arm propped on Jang Yan's table, a lazily voice rang out. Jang Yan looked up and saw a girl in cool clothes standing opposite her holding a mobile phone stand. She looked to be in her early 20s, with sophisticated makeup. Although she is not as beautiful as Su Mengran, she can definitely score more than 9 points. It's up to you. Jang Yan took a look at the girl, and then continued to concentrate on masturbating. Thank you, handsome guy. Xu Ching sat down on the seat opposite Jang Yan, and then waved her hand at the screen of her phone. Guys, I've arrived, everyone has seen it. This is the top floor of the Spring City Spirit Martial Hall. I heard today there will be a special product in the auction, and I spent a lot of money to show everyone to see it. I just went downstairs and bought something worth 300,000 yuan. Hearing this, Jang Yan probably guessed the occupation of the girl opposite, and no surprises, she should be an internet celebrity anchor. The live broadcast industry is also quite developed in this world. But at the same time, the requirements are quite high. Only singing and dancing will not work here. If you want to be popular, you must have corresponding strength. Jang Yan could sense that the girl opposite was also a warrior. In a small place like Spring City, warriors are not very common, not to mention that the opponent doesn't look very old. Handsome guy, are you here to participate in the auction too? Xu Ching said a few words to the audience in the live broadcast room, and couldn't help but shift her gaze to Jang Yan again. There's no way, this handsome guy is too handsome. She couldn't help but want to take a second look. I'm not here to participate in the auction, am I here for dinner? Jang Yan said as he rolled the skewers. That's right, the things in the rest area of Lingwu Hall are notoriously expensive. Xu Ching propped her chin and continued to ask, little handsome guy, are you still in high school? Jang Yan nodded. You are amazing. You dare to come to this kind of place at such a young age. I heard that there are a lot of weird things in the auction. People with no eyesight can easily be scammed. Xu Ching continued to find a topic. I just look at it casually, I don't necessarily buy it. Jang Yan replied. Seeing that Xu Ching and Jang Yan were having a lively chat, the audience in the live broadcast room were not happy. Little Rainbow, you are not being kind, you brought us to see the auction, and chatted with the handsome guy. Is it so handsome? Let's see. The anchor is only looking at the handsome guy, how can he still remember us? He just went to high school. Little Rainbow, you are too beast. Xu Ching took the time to glance at the screen of her mobile phone, only to find that the audience in the live broadcast room were swiping the screen and calling her a beast, and she blushed suddenly. What are you talking about? I just chat with people casually and call them handsome, that's just polite, that's all. Ghosts believe your words, you are blushing. Guilty, definitely guilty. After a long time, the anchor likes old cows to eat young grass. No wonder so many people pursued you before, but you didn't respond. Birds. Xu Ching saw that the barrage in the live broadcast room was getting more and more outrageous, so she quickly changed the subject and said, oh, I won't tell you about this, the auction will start soon, I have to do some preparations, and I will start the broadcast for you at 7 o'clock. After finishing speaking, Xu Ching directly turned off the live broadcast. She found her heart beating violently. Really, those guys in the live broadcast room are too fond of booing. How could she like old cows to eat tender grass? Xu Ching looked up at Jang Yan. He was relieved to find that Jang Yan was concentrating on mashing and didn't notice anything unusual about her. Little handsome guy, do you know that there will be a special item in today's auction, which seems to have been handed down from the world? Xu Ching leaned forward slightly with her upper body and said mysteriously. As soon as Jang Yan looked up, he saw a snow-white landscape. Cough. Jang Yan almost choked. Fortunately, he didn't mess around with the advanced version of the qi and blood pill. Otherwise, who can bear this scene? Xu Ching noticed Jang Yan's gaze, and quickly covered her chest with her hands. Forgot to wear a V-neck today, careless. You are so dishonest at such a young age. Xu Ching snorted softly. After talking for a long time, don't you recognize who I am? Don't you usually watch the live broadcast? Don't look. Jang Yan shook his head. He doesn't even have a smartphone, so why watch a live broadcast? The poor do not deserve entertainment. Although he is not short of money now, he has been so busy recently that he didn't think about changing his mobile phone. Wait until the weekend to talk about it. Then you should pay attention to me later. My name is Rainbow Rabbit. I usually do some item explanations. Many students like to watch my live broadcast. You can learn a lot. Xu Ching said playfully. Rainbow Rabbit. Jang Yan glanced at Xu Ching again. This name may not suit you. Then what name do you think is suitable for me? Xu Ching was slightly taken aback. Well, Jang Yan smiled at Xu Ching. I won't tell you. Forget it. Xu Ching glanced at the time. The auction will start soon, so I won't chat with you. After speaking, she picked up the live broadcast equipment and left in a hurry. Jang Yan looked in the direction of the auction house, and sure enough, he was already letting people in, so he also got up and walked over. Among the rich and powerful, Jang Yan's clothes are very simple. The t-shirt on his body seemed to be bought for 20 yuan last year, which was cheap as far as the naked eye could see. However, the staff of Lingwu Hall are of high quality, and they are very polite to any guest. After verifying Jang Yan's identity, they gave him a number plate. Through this number plate, everyone can have a separate private room. Jang Yan has already seen many local tyrants go in with their female companions. Apart from showing off, these people definitely have no good intentions. But to be honest, Jang Yan is not envious at all. Although he has no girls around him, he is handsome and not bald. Based on this alone, he defeated 90% of the people present. With one hand in his trouser pocket, Jang Yan walked around the auction house for half a circle, and finally found his own private room according to the number plate. The private room is small, with only a sofa, a small square table, and a wine cabinet inside. Free fruit snacks are placed on the small square table, and the wine cabinet is also full of drinks of various prices, which can be purchased directly by swiping the card or scanning the code to meet the needs of various groups of people. Opposite the sofa is a panoramic floor-to-ceiling window inlaid with one-way perspective glass. It can give guests the best look and feel, and can also protect the privacy of guests. Jang Yan came to the sofa and sat down, broke a banana casually, and ate it while waiting for the auction to start. As the bell struck 7 o'clock, a middle-aged man in a suit and leather shoes stepped onto the booth. He straightened his bow tie, and immediately said with a smile on his face, "Welcome everyone to come to the Lingwu Hall's auction. Today, as usual, there will be 10 items for auction, including 3 kinds of medicines, 2 weapons, and a set of armor. 2 books of exercises and 2 types of special items will definitely not disappoint everyone's expectations." As the host finished speaking, 10 beautiful women in cheongsams walked up to the booth with today's auction items. The trays in their hands were covered with red cloth, and they could only see the general shape of the auction item from the surface but could not see the specific content. However, before each auction starts, Lingwu Hall will release some rumors to attract everyone to come. For example, today it is said that there is an item handed down from the world of the heavens. Many big shots in the inner city, and even people from other cities, came to join in the fun. But everyone knows the methods of the merchants. The things spread in the world of the heavens should be real. After all, Lingwutang does not dare to make false propaganda. But it probably won't be a good item, otherwise it will definitely be auctioned in a big city first. Even so, there are still many people who want to try their luck. For anchors like Xu Ching, Jang Yan has seen several of them. After the opening remarks, the auction officially began. The host came to the first tray, stretched out his hand and lifted the red cloth, and saw a carved wooden box on the tray, which contained a blood-red elixir. Today's first auction item is a third-grade washway pill, which is specially aimed at internal injuries. As long as the heart veins are not damaged, other internal injuries can be healed instantly. And this elixir is from the hands of Master Qin Ji. Both quality and quality are guaranteed, and friends in need should not miss it. After giving everyone a few seconds to react, the host continued, "The starting price for this third-grade washway pill is 800,000 yuan, and each increase should not be less than 1%. Everyone can bid now." As the host's voice fell, many private rooms were lit up one after another. 900,000, 1 million, 1.2 million, 1,500,000, 108. In the end, this 3-grade blood pill was sold at a price of 2.3 million. Jang Yan had to lament that there are many rich people in this world, and a third-grade washway pill can be sold for a sky-high price of more than 2 million, so wouldn't the advanced version of the third-grade Wangyu pill he synthesized be worth 5 million? The next 2 elixirs also fetched high prices of 1.6 million and 1.9 million respectively. Including the weapons and armor behind, Jang Yan is not very interested. There is no doubt that buying one is definitely not as good as synthesizing it yourself. It's not cheap to be able to go to the auction. But those 2 exercises and 2 special items, he wanted to see if there was anything he needed. Martial skills and spiritual techniques are a means to release spiritual power. That exercise is a means to increase spiritual power. Schools usually only teach the most basic method of breathing. But if you learn the exercises, the speed of cultivation will be completely different. The next auction item is a book of exercises suitable for women's cultivation, called Qinglian Gong. After practicing, not only can the absorption speed of spiritual power be increased, but also the fragrance of lotus will overflow the body during the operation of spiritual power. This auction item is a rare treasure. The starting price is 8 million, and each bid must not be less than 1%. Everyone can bid now. Hearing the price quoted by the host, the corners of Jang Yan's eyes twitched. Although he was mentally prepared, he never thought that the price of the exercises could be so high. The starting price is 8 million, and the final transaction price must be more than 10 million. Fortunately, it is a technique used by women, and it is useless for him to use it. I hope the next exercise book will be cheaper. It doesn't matter if things are poor, the key is to be able to buy them. Probably because the items were too expensive, the number of people bidding this time was obviously not as many as before. However, most of the quotes are women. Jang Yan even heard a familiar voice. 18 million. Xu Ching sat on the sofa, quoted another price unconvinced, and then looked at the phone screen. Today, I have to take down this copy of Qinglian Gong. I met a copy at the auction in the imperial capital before. Everyone knows that I gave up after getting 30 million. I was so angry for 2 days when I went back. I didn't eat, so I can't miss anything today. The audience in the live broadcast room persuaded one after another. Little Rainbow, you have to calm down. Last month, you only photographed a 50 million weapon. If you photograph this exercise book today, you will go bankrupt. That's right, although Qinglian Kung Fu is very suitable for women to cultivate, the price is indeed too expensive. It's not easy to make some money. Anchor, have you forgotten the days when you ate instant noodles every day last month? Little Rainbow, let's look at other things, in case there are still good things behind. Xu Ching glanced at the barrage in the live broadcast room, and said with a firm expression, "Don't try to persuade me today, even if I eat dirt for the next 6 months, I will film Qinglian Gong." At this time, the bid for Qinglian Gong had already reached 20 million. Xu Ching gritted her teeth and directly quoted a price. 25 million. Now, the entire auction house fell silent. In a place like Chuncheong, there are still a small number of people who can spend more than 20 million yuan to buy a book of exercises. The host waited for 10 seconds and saw that no bids were made, so he counted down and dropped the hammer. Congratulations to the lady in room 72, who successfully bid for Qinglian Gong at a price of 25 million. The host announced loudly. The staff at the back sent the items to Xu Ching with a tray, and the host continued to auction the next item. The next auction item is a bit special. The host tore away the red cloth on the tray, and saw a few old animal skin papers on it. This is a dilapidated exercise book. After analysis by our appraiser, this exercise is likely to reach level 6. Hearing the word level 6, the atmosphere at the scene couldn't help but be mobilized. It's hard to find a lot of money in the market, let alone a 6th level exercise. Even if it is broken, as long as there are a few fragments that can be used, it is worth it. However, when the camera pointed at the item and a close-up of the details came, the atmosphere on the scene instantly turned cold again. Those were 2 tattered pieces of animal skin paper. The handwriting on it is not only blurred, but also has many incoherent places. Taking this kind of practice back home can only be used as a collection at best. Anyone who dares to really practice according to the above will be easily obsessed. But Jang Yan was excited. Good stuff. He likes this kind of rags, because the starting price is definitely not much higher. Even if he couldn't synthesize a complete exercise in the end, he could use other low-level exercises to continue to synthesize, and some useful things could always be preserved. Seeing the sluggish atmosphere at the scene, the host was also a little helpless. Most of these 2 fragments of exercises were about to be unsold. Due to the incompleteness of the exercises, we only set a starting price of 2 million yuan. If you are interested, it is good to buy it back for collection. Now everyone can bid. Hearing the starting price, Jang Yan quickly checked his bank card balance. Today I sold a second-grade sapphire pill and earned 500,000. In addition, Shu Li and Gao Yang asked him to pre-order 2 green jade pills, and Wang Zhaoming also pre-ordered 3. The money is now in his account. Excluding the 300,000 yuan he bought for the pill just now, he still has more than 3.7 million yuan in his hand. Can take it. 2 million. Jang Yan bid directly. The gentleman in room 117 bid 2 million. Is there any higher price? The host's tone suddenly became high. Finally, he didn't have to worry about failing the auction. 2 million was a lot for him. As if afraid of Jang Yan's repentance, the host only paused for 5 seconds this time. Make sure no one bids, then I will start counting down now. 3, 2, 1. Let us congratulate the gentleman in room 117, who successfully bid for the remaining pages of the 6th level exercise at a price of 2 million. Jang Yan didn't expect that he could buy things at a low price. But think about it too. For him, it was a mistake, but for other buyers, spending millions of dollars to buy 2 pieces of torn paper, which can neither be used nor pretended, is completely useless. Even if you don't lack money to buy and collect, people have to choose something that has that value. There are so many good things, why buy 2 pieces of torn paper? In room 72, Xu Ching also recognized Jang Yan's voice. This kid, you don't really think that 2 million can buy a 6th level exercise book back? Xu Ching sighed. If she knew she should have let Jang Yan follow her, at least she could remind her. She still has a good impression of this little brother. The staff sent the remaining pages of the exercises to Jang Yan's room. After paying the full amount on the spot, Jang Yan got his things. At this time, the host has already continued to auction the next item. It was an array, with a starting price of 800,000. Jang Yan was not interested, so he studied the 2 pieces of animal skin paper in his hand. He had to make sure first whether the 2 remaining pages of the exercises had really reached the 6th level. After all, the appraiser doesn't know what the complete exercise looks like. If the appraisal is wrong, then he will lose a lot. But the possibility of this kind of probability appearing in Lingwu Hall is still small. Jang Yan opened the synthesis table, and put one of the animal skins into it. The details are immediately clear. Broken 6th level exercise. The specific content is unknown, and the effect is unknown. Level 6 is fine. Jang Yan didn't hesitate, and directly added another piece of animal skin paper into the crafting table. The system immediately popped up a prompt. Do you want to synthesize a broken 6th level skill? Synthesis. The broken 6th level exercise has been synthesized. Congratulations on getting the Wanxiang Ju. Wanxiang Ju, a 3-level skill. After practice, it can increase the speed of absorbing spiritual power by 3 times. Why are you downgraded? Jang Yan was a little disappointed. And it's level 3. It seems that the cultivation method is incomplete, and it still has a relatively large impact on the final synthesized product. Jang Yan held the brand new Wanxiang Ju in his hand. The material of this exercise book is no longer animal skin paper, but a cheap product printed in batches on the market, and the materials used may not be as good as the textbooks issued by the school. And many more. Batch printing. A flash of inspiration suddenly came to Jang Yan's mind. With the complete content of the exercises, he can print them out in batches and continue to synthesize them. If it works, what is the 6th level exercise? At the 9th level, he will be able to get out sooner or later. Thinking of this, the depression in Jang Yan's heart was instantly swept away. He put away the exercises and looked up at the booth. The array just now has been sold at a price of 3 million. Next, is the finale product of today's auction. I'm sure everyone knows that our Lingwu Hall recently received a special item. After analysis by more than a dozen of our senior appraisers, it is confirmed that it is from the world of the heavens. The host came to the last auction item, reached out and lifted the red cloth. Seeing the things inside, the scene couldn't help being amazed. God, what is this? It's so beautiful. It should look like a fish, but it looks so pretty. I don't know if it can be domesticated. The species in the world of the heavens are rare things. If there is a market, if you take a photo, you may earn several times by reselling them. The host was very satisfied with everyone's reaction. He smiled and said, as you can see, this should be a water-type spirit beast with a gentle temperament. It must be no problem to domesticate. If the contract can be successfully established, it can also assist in the battle. This in recent years, there are quite a few monsters that can be contracted, but the species in the world of the heavens cannot be seen anywhere. After such an introduction by the host, the atmosphere at the scene became even more heated. Anyone can imagine the effect of having a spirit beast from the heavens and taking it out. People's longing for the world of heaven has penetrated into every aspect of life. Any words that contain the words of the heavens and the world, even the price of Chinese cabbage can be doubled several times. Not to mention spirit beasts with the possibility of domestication. When everyone was discussing fiercely, Jang Yan rubbed his eyes, suspecting that he was wrong. This is not his hallucination, is it? If it's really that stuff, wouldn't it be a big deal? On the booth is a small water tank only half a meter high. Inside, a small blue fish the size of a palm is quietly floating in the center of the water tank. Its dorsal fin and tail are extremely long, like soft ribbons floating back and forth with the water waves, emitting a faint blue light, reflecting the entire booth into a cool tone. From the outside, this is a very beautiful little fish. Good looking, plus from the world of the heavens, gentle temperament, can be domesticated. Adding all the elements together, it is doomed that its price will not be cheap. But after Jang Yan carefully confirmed it, his heart felt cold. The information of this creature appeared in his mind. Siren, also known as bad luck, is one of the bosses of the Forbidden Sea in the world of the heavens. It's nothing special. Wherever it appears, there will be bad luck. And don't look at how small it is. This is someone else's imitation. People put it here to be cute. Do you really think it can be domesticated? I don't know who is so wicked to put this thing up for auction. Either they really don't understand, or they just don't have good intentions. Forget it, let him retreat early. I always feel that the building of Lingwutang will be finished in the next second. Jang Yan silently wished good luck to those present, and then quietly left the auction house. It's not that he doesn't want to remind others, the key point is that no one will believe him if he says it. Good luck to everyone. Jang Yan took the elevator to the first floor. Just as he stepped out of the elevator, the ground suddenly shook violently. The ceiling began to brush off the dust, and the floor also showed tiny cracks. Isn't it come so soon? Jang Yan didn't dare to think too much, and rushed out of Lingwu Hall at the fastest speed. Just when he ran more than 10 meters away from the Lingwu Hall, there was a loud boom behind him, and a black snake thicker than a bucket came out of the ground. Then, 2, 3, 4. In just 10 seconds, 7 black snakes emerged from the ground. Their target seems to be above the Lingwu Hall building. After getting out of the ground, climb up the building. Everywhere he went was a mess. That's not all. At the same time as these black snakes appeared, a large black shadow gathered above Lingwu Hall. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to be countless mutated flying ants. This kind of flying ants are very common in Broken Soul Forest. They are about the size of a bull, appear in groups, and are extremely destructive. Lingwu Hall is located in the most prosperous stage of the outer city. This scene really frightened many people. Pedestrians who were a little further away began to take out their mobile phones to take pictures. Jang Yan ran towards the inner city without looking back. Now everyone has not realized that there is no restriction on traffic in the inner city. If the outer city is in chaos, the inner city must be the safest. After running for a certain distance, Jang Yan took a taxi and reported an address in the inner city. Oh, what happened to the Lingwu Hall in the outer city, making such a big commotion? The taxi driver looked at the rearview mirror curiously while driving. In the end, only a few huge black snakes were seen, twisting the Lingwu Hall like a twist, and there were still large black shadows condensed in the sky above the Lingwu Hall building. Brother, stop looking, hurry up and drive to the inner city, before you can get in. Jang Yan kindly reminded. Hiss, the driver gasped, and realized in an instant, there are so many monsters running into the outer city, I'm afraid something serious will happen. Thinking of this, the driver brother stepped on the accelerator. Both the inner city and the outer city are circular, and there are entrances and exits in 8 directions. If it goes in a straight line, it won't take much time at all. When it was about to approach the inner city, the driver brother suddenly turned around and said, My wife and children live in the front, let them ride into the inner city together, it's not a big problem. The driver brother just asked Jang Yan for his opinion politely. At this juncture, he could completely leave Jang Yan behind and take his wife and children into the inner city by himself. Although you must be honest in doing business, it is under the premise of ensuring your own interests. Compared with unfamiliar passengers, your own family must be more important. Of course, no problem. After speaking, Jang Yan also took out his mobile phone and sent a text message to Wang Xiaoming and the others. He didn't forget that Wang Xiaoming and the others asked him to pre-order Qingyu pill. Now the money is gone and there is no way to get a refund. Remind them that it's a good deed, and by the way, prove that they didn't run away. At that time, we can only see each other in the inner city by fate. The driver brother notified his wife and children in advance. When I got downstairs in the community, I just pulled people up and left without wasting much time. But when they arrived at the entrance of the inner city, they found that there was already a long queue for the passage into the city. When the outer city was in chaos, similar scenes would appear every time. The inner city also allows people from the outer city to go in and take refuge, but they have to pay 5-figure taxes every day. Only a very small number of people are willing to pay this money. And it's not just special periods, even in normal times, people from the outer city can't just spend the night in the inner city. Those who do not have a residence permit in the inner city will pay for every breath of inner city air. This is the truth, but Jang Yan knew very well that this time the situation was quite special. The name of Doom Siren is not just for fun. As long as it is still in Spring City, there will be a steady stream of disasters befalling. Now that monsters are attacking the city, I don't know what will happen later. If I go in, I'm afraid I won't be able to get out for 10.5 months. At that time, many people should go bankrupt. At this moment, the auction house on the top floor of Lingwu Hall is already in chaos. The small fish in the water tank on the booth has long since disappeared. While contacting rescue staff, the staff calmed down the emotions of the guests. Everyone, please be safe and calm. Now there are 7 earth dragons outside the Lingwu Hall, and there are also mutated flying ant colonies with a range of more than 2 kilometers. But everyone can rest assured that our Lingwu Hall has set up an inner city level defense at the auction venue. Formation: as long as everyone stays in the auction house with peace of mind, we can guarantee everyone's safety. But even though the staff said so, there were still many people clamoring to go out. Many of those present were bigwigs from other places. With their appeal, people can be called to rescue them at any time. But if you are trapped here, it is equivalent to handing over the initiative to Lingwu Hall. Only relying on the defensive formation, there is no way to make people feel at ease. In chaos, Xu Ching held the mobile phone holder and hid in the corner by herself, her face full of lovelessness. This is the end of love to join in the fun. If you watch too much excitement, there will always be 1 or 2 accidents. But only in this way can there be a live broadcast effect. Now she has gone crazy with the rewards in the live broadcast room, but she is trapped in this small venue, and she doesn't know when she will be rescued. In fact, when Jang Yan left, she was very curious why Jang Yan didn't leave after watching all the finale auction items. Thinking about it carefully, Jang Yan's expression was not quite right at that time. Maybe they knew something in advance. The weirdest thing was that when all the accidents happened, the little blue fish on the booth with a starting price of 50 million yuan disappeared out of thin air. She witnessed this scene with her own eyes. Just don't be too weird. Xu Ching was relieved. Emma, there are too many things happening today, she has to digest them. But before she could catch her breath, the barrage in the live broadcast room began to frantically swipe the screen. Little Rainbow, it's over. I read the news just now, saying that there is a beast horde outside Spring City, and it will reach the bottom of the city wall in 5 minutes at most. What happened to Spring City today? A few earth dragons ran out of the outer city, and before they stopped, the beast horde came again. What kind of bad luck is this? According to experts' analysis, this beast swarm is rare in decades, and nearby cities have already mobilized support. Otherwise, Spring City will definitely not be able to handle this wave. The anchor seems to be trapped for a while. After watching the barrage, Xu Ching was in a bad mood. Beast tide. Didn't she just come to participate in an auction, where she could encounter a beast tide that was rare in decades? This is not over yet, and there are new discoveries in the barrage in the live broadcast room. Just now, some geological experts have detected with instruments that there is a large area of holes in the ground of Spring City. Not surprisingly, they may be the lairs of Earth dragons. If a large area of Earth dragons is unearthed, it will cause an earthquake of at least magnitude 9. The Earth dragon is a 7th level monster. If there is an Earth dragon's lair in the underground of Spring City, why haven't we found it before? What do these experts do? They didn't fart before anything happened. Now that there is an Earth dragon disaster, there are all kinds of new discoveries immediately. It's awesome. The latest news, I heard that there are many flying monsters in this beast swarm, and the city walls alone may not be able to stop them. After Xu Ching finished watching the barrage, her eyes almost went dark. Is this bad news all piled together? Let her go, she won't dare to join in the fun anymore. Jang Yan caught up with the last group and finally entered the inner city. Probably the situation in the outer city is grim. This time the inner city was only open for more than half an hour, and all access to the city was closed. At the same time, he also received replies from Wang Xiaoming and others. Xu Li lives close to the inner city and has successfully entered the city for refuge. Wang Xiaoming and Gao Yang failed to catch up, but the defenses around the inner city were so strict that they barely entered the safe range. As for Su Mengran, he lives in the inner city, so there is nothing to worry about. After Jang Yan got off the bus, he went to the nearby science and technology city to buy a new smartphone. Now that there is such a big accident in the outer city, he must pay attention to the news. After plugging in the SIM card and turning it on, he received several news software pushes. There is a beast tide that is rare in decades in Spring City, and support from all parties will arrive within 2 hours. Experts discovered that a huge group of Earth dragons appeared in the underground of Spring City. It is inferred that they may have come from deep underground, or they may have wandered from other places. There will be frequent earthquakes at that time. Please take precautions. Formation expert Dr. Chen said that the defensive formation of the inner city can resist all natural disasters, and earthquakes will not affect the inner city. Jang Yan didn't expect that there would be so many changes in the outer city in just half an hour. At best, others thought it was just a coincidence, but he knew that it must have something to do with the sea monster of doom. This thing doesn't stay in the Forbidden Sea properly, but comes out and runs around. It's creepy to think about. Forget it, the inner city should be safe for now, let's find a place to stay first. Jang Yan found several hotels nearby, but all of them were full. During the time he went to buy a mobile phone, people with evacuation experience had already found a place to live. People from the outer city entering the inner city cannot stay outside after 12 o'clock. Otherwise, if caught, not only will they be fined, but they will also be expelled from the city. Usually it's okay. Being driven out of the city at this juncture is no different from courting death. In the end, Jang Yan had no choice but to enter a love hotel. Excuse me, is it alone? The waiter at the front desk looked at Jang Yan and asked. Well, alone. Jang Yan touched his nose. There is no rule that single dogs cannot stay in love hotels, right? Please show your ID card. The waiter didn't ask much, and continued. Jang Yan handed over his ID card, and the front desk clerk recognized at a glance that it was the ID number of the outer city, and immediately said, Sir, since you are from the outer city, you need to pay 1,000 for the room fee, plus 10,000 for taxes. I will pay for it for you. If there is no problem, please pay first, we can swipe the card or cash here. Swipe the card. Jang Yan handed over the bank card. At this time, there was a couple checking in next to them. They glanced at Jang Yan and started whispering there. This man is from outside the city. It must be, dressed like a beggar. These soil turtles from the outer city are really annoying. You can smell their poverty when you walk on the road, and they have caused the prices of our hotels to increase. That's right, when we came yesterday, it only cost 500. Since Jang Yan became a warrior, his eyesight and hearing have been greatly improved. He naturally heard the conversation between the couple. 1,000 yuan for a hotel is too expensive. I really don't know where they come from to feel confident that others are poor. Who can take refuge in the inner city during this period without any financial strength? As for the inner city, not all of them are rich and powerful. Many people have rich and capable ancestors, and they were given household registration in the inner city, but they were not given the ability to make money. But they are used to being superior, and they are used to the household registration in the inner city being higher than that in the outer city. So I can say this without psychological pressure. They even think it's normal. However, it is often these mediocre people who regard the inner city hukou as showing off capital. Those who are truly capable, who cares about a piece of broken paper. Wherever they go, they can live a wonderful life. As for the two couples' evaluation of him, Jang Yan just laughed it off. After checking in, he took the elevator up to the 8th floor. Finding his own room, Jang Yan walked in. It can only be said that it is a love hotel. In the small room, all the furnishings are full of ambiguous atmosphere. The bed is also heart-shaped and covered with rose petals. Even at the head of the bed, there is a pink fish tank with colorful ornamental fish in it. Suddenly, Jang Yan's expression froze. He even wanted to curse a little bit. How did this thing appear here? He hid from the outer city to the inner city. I thought it was just bad luck that I encountered this thing at the auction. But now it seems that it is more like coming for him. Jang Yan stood there observing for a few seconds, and found that the siren in the pink fish tank had no intention of attacking anyone. Instead, he followed a group of small fish swimming around, as if planning to get away with it. It looks like, but what is he going to do now? Running is definitely useless. He drove into the inner city, and it turned out that this thing was faster than him. Even knew ahead of time which room he was going to live in. But if he stayed, he felt that he would die suddenly in the next second. Is there any way to solve this trouble? Tough, he must be tough. Although he got a lot of good things in the past few days, compared with the boss of the Forbidden Sea of the Heavens world, it is not enough. Is he going to be planted here today? The key is that I don't know how I planted it. He has only traveled here for less than a week, so there is no reason why he would provoke the enemies of the heavens. After all, he used to play only games, but here is the real world. Jang Yan's mind turned rapidly, and a possibility suddenly occurred to him. Universal synthesis platform, even creatures can be synthesized. Then can he take it into the synthesis table while the sea monster is not paying attention? This guy is quite addicted to pretending to be an ornamental fish. It shouldn't have occurred to him that he would do it suddenly. Maybe it's really feasible. Jang Yan turned on the synthesis platform and saw that the sea monster still didn't respond, so he swaggered over. He pretended to look at the furnishings of the room and walked to the bed. It's worth $1,000. Jang Yan sat on the bed relaxed all over, with his arms resting casually on the bedside table, and naturally touched the fish tank. At that moment, the siren figure in the fish tank paused. How could Jang Yan let go of this opportunity, and immediately use the universal synthesis platform, trying to directly take the siren into it? However, the development of the matter deviated a little from what he had imagined. I saw that in the universal synthesis table. It is a complete fish tank. Why did you take all the fish tanks in? Jang Yan's heart almost jumped into his throat. After careful observation, he found that the sea monster was still in the fish tank, and he was relieved. The fish tank that was put into the synthesis table seemed to be at a standstill, and even the swinging range of the aquatic plants inside remained the same as before. Although the siren is just a fish in appearance. But Jang Yan still saw a hint of bewilderment in its eyes. This guy probably never thought that he still has this trump card. Jang Yan is in a great mood. After the synthesis, he successively discovered the identification function of the synthesis table, and now he found that it can also be used to trap powerful enemies. Simply too strong. But soon, his mood was not beautiful. The fish tank is in the synthesis table, so what will he do in the future when he synthesizes things? Mistake, misstep. His strength can improve so fast, all thanks to the elixir synthesized by the synthesis station. He also promised to give Xu Li and the others Qingyu pill tomorrow. Now he can't get the pill, and he can't get the money. Wouldn't he be treated as a liar? Let's take a look at the attributes of the fish tank first. What if this guy just looks like a sea monster? Jang Yan still held a trace of luck in his heart. He opens the properties of the item. Strange ornamental fish tank. Although it is just an ordinary ornamental fish tank, there is an ominous atmosphere inside. Really, just for this ominous breath, it is definitely that the doomed sea monster has not escaped. Why don't you synthesize it directly with the fish tank? Jang Yan was completely at a loss. For a monster of the level of Doom Siren, his current upper limit of spiritual power would definitely not be able to be synthesized. But the synthetic platform didn't say it was a siren. He just synthesized a fish tank. Could it be that there is still a limit to spiritual power? It's okay, just find something to test and you'll know. Jang Yan turned the hotel room upside down. Then I found a desk lamp, a box of tissue paper, a box of TT, a crystal ball ornament, 2 bottles of mineral water, 2 pairs of disposable slippers, and 2 sets of toiletries. Jang Yan ruled out some strange things, and finally left the crystal ball ornaments and mineral water. Synthesize different items, he has tried it before. Although the characteristics of both will be preserved, one object is bound to dominate. For example, the combination of black iron fruit knife and blood-sucking vine. In the end, the fruit knife retains its original shape, but has some characteristics of blood-sucking vine. So he had to make sure that the fish tank had to be the one to be synthesized. That way he is safe. After much deliberation, Jang Yan still chose the crystal ball. Mineral water has a single attribute and is not easy to make mistakes. But it's also hard to keep. Ornamental fish tank, ornamental crystal ball, both are ornamental objects. Whoever survives in the end can only rely on luck. Thinking of this, Jang Yan directly added the crystal ball into the synthesis table. Is it possible to synthesize a weird ornamental fish tank plus an ordinary ornamental crystal ball? Hearing the system prompt, Jang Yan knew he had made the right bet. The judgment of the synthesis station on the fish tank is just an ordinary item. Synthesis. Jang Yan made a decisive choice. Weird ornamental fish tank plus ordinary ornamental crystal ball have been synthesized. Congratulations on getting the weird divination crystal ball. It's done. Jang Yan clenched his fist so hard that he couldn't help jumping up. He quickly glanced at the attributes. Strange divination crystal ball. You can divination for someone once a day, and the cooling time is 24 hours. The object of divination must be in bad luck. After reading the attribute introduction, Jang Yan almost burst out laughing. I didn't expect that I would synthesize a special item that can be used after a blind operation. The attack power is equal to 0, but the lethality is extremely strong. This is an item synthesized with the Doom Siren, just think about how terrifying its power is. Who dares to provoke him in the future, just come to a divination. Any trouble can be solved. Jang Yan took out the divination crystal ball. Originally, it was just a snow scene, with cedars, huts, and deer carts, but now it is shrouded in a black fog, and occasionally lightning flashes can be faintly seen in the fog layer. This is very similar to the scenery of the Forbidden Sea. The sky over the Forbidden Sea is shrouded in dark clouds all the year round, with thunder and lightning. It is simply a concentration camp of monsters. There are thousands of bosses, big and small, and the Kraken is just one of the famous big bosses in it. But no matter what happened in the crystal ball, it has become Jang Yan's property now. He couldn't wait to find someone to test the effect of the divination crystal ball. I don't know this divination object either. Is it limited to people? The world of the heavens. Under a colorful crystal suspended in midair, many strange-shaped creatures gathered. One of the monsters with the head of a man and the body of a snake twisted its body forward. My lord, the aura of the sea monster has disappeared. The monster with the head of a man and the body of a snake said respectfully. The prophecy stone will not go wrong. It seems that the sea monster has found the whereabouts of the god-level secret treasure. A woman in a long purple dress faced the direction of the colorful crystal. Her figure is illusory and ethereal. She is clearly close in front of her eyes, but it seems to be just a phantom, which is unpredictable. The information that the prophecy stone told her was that a god-level secret treasure was born. And it pointed to a small planet outside the world of the heavens. There was no hope at first. But now that the sea monster's breath has disappeared, it actually makes this matter more interesting. Send someone to investigate the location where the sea monster disappeared last. The god-level secret treasure must not fall into the hands of humans. The woman in purple ordered. Yes, my lord. The monster with the head of a man and the body of a snake responded immediately. When it looked up again, the woman in purple had disappeared in place. As expected, something opened from a god-level treasure chest. the universal synthesis platform is too buggy. This is not the first time he has lamented the power of the universal synthesis platform. The key this time, the universal synthesis platform helped him solve a big threat. Originally had nowhere to go, ready to die. Unexpectedly, the situation turned around, and now not only the trouble has been solved, but a new piece of equipment has also been synthesized. But today he was also lucky, the sea monster did not show its true body. Even if the sea monster is a little vigilant, it won't let him succeed so easily. Afraid of another accident, Jang Yan quickly recovered his spiritual power and prepared to synthesize the 20 bottles of pills in his hand. In this way, he will not be short of pills for a long time to come. The excess can be sold for money. He also planned to find time to deal with those advanced second-grade qi and blood pills. There are a lot of rich people in the inner city, so this kind of elixir with special functions will certainly not worry about selling. At this moment, a knock on the door suddenly rang. Jang Yan had no choice but to put away his things first, and walked over to open the door. I saw the waiter at the front desk standing outside the door, and a man in flashy clothes. He hugged the two girls on the left and right, and gave Jang Yan a provocative look. Tell him clearly. The man kicked the heel of the waiter's shoe, his tone full of impatience. Sir, it's like this. Due to my negligence just now, I forgot that this room has already been booked. Now I can only ask you to let me out. We will refund the original amount of tax and rent. The waiter said apologetically. Can't you change the room for me? Jang Yan didn't want to waste time on such trivial matters. He is busy now, and it was almost 12 o'clock, so it was definitely too late to find the hotel again. I'm really sorry, this is already the last room. The waiter said sorry, but his tone was dry, without the slightest sincerity of apologizing. What are you talking about with him? Hurry up and find someone to throw him out. A country bumpkin from outside the city, what are you afraid of him doing? Lu Janai was in a hurry. If it wasn't for Jang Yan blocking the door, he would have already carried his girl and went straight to the point up. Just as the waiter was about to speak, he saw Jang Yan pull out a black crystal ball out of nowhere, staring at Lu Janai with a strange expression on his face. Handsome guy, I think you've got a dark seal, I'm afraid you're going to be in bad luck recently. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. Lu Janai looked confused, what the hell? To tell you the truth, my ancestors have been doing divination for generations. I never easily help others with divination, but today, handsome guy, your divination is too dangerous. I really feel sorry for not reminding you. Jang Yan said a lot. Anyway, fortune-telling is to fool people, just make it up. Why are you cursing me? Lu Janai stared. If it weren't for the fact that the city couldn't do it, the brat he beat up would have had teeth all over the place. The waiter was also taken aback. No matter how divination came out. And can divination and fortune-telling be the same thing? Where is this going? Handsome guy, I don't need to lie to you, I just want to kindly remind you before I leave. Jang Yan said earnestly. Don't worry, I don't charge for divination. Our business pays more attention to accumulating virtue and doing good deeds. Money is important to us. Our worldly things. The more you talk, the more you become addicted, right? See if I don't punish you today. Lu Janai rolled up his sleeves, obviously ready to do something. Seeing this, the two girls beside him and the waiter quickly grabbed him. Master Lu, calm down. I'll just ask the security guards to throw him out. The city is very strict recently. If you do something, you will definitely be held accountable, the waiter said bitterly. If Lu Janai made a move here, he would definitely lose his job when he was sent in. At this time, a mobile phone rang. Let go, I'll answer the phone. Lu Janai broke free, gave Jang Yan a warning look, then took out his phone and pressed the answer button. Mom, what's the matter? I'm busy. What are you busy? Come back quickly, your father was in a car accident, and I heard that he broke 3 ribs, and he has already been sent to the hospital. A woman's voice came through the phone. Lu Janai suspected that he heard it wrong. His father is a martial artist, what kind of car accident can he break 3 ribs? Oh my god. Before Lu Janai could react, a scream came from the phone. Mom, what's wrong? Lu Janai asked quickly. Just now, on my way to the garage, a beam suddenly fell from the ceiling. Fortunately, the bodyguard pulled me away in time, otherwise it would have been fine if I fell on my body. It's fine, it's fine. Lu Janai breathed a sigh of relief. Wait, it's a call from the hospital, I'll answer it first. When Lu Janai answered the phone, Jang Yan was also keeping an eye on the time. The effect is very fast, and the effect will appear in 3 minutes. But isn't the divination by the crystal ball aimed at me? That would be boring. Just as Jang Yan thought of this, Lu Junhai's face turned blue suddenly. Master Lu, what's the matter with you? The female companion beside him asked with concern. As soon as Lu Junhai opened his mouth, he felt his stomach turn upside down, and then let out a loud fart uncontrollably. The smell spread instantly. The 3 people around him immediately took a few steps back. Toilet, where is the toilet? Lu Junhai asked the waiter through gritted teeth. 2 steps ahead, turn left and you will be there. The waiter resisted the urge to cover his nose, and pointed to the opposite side. Lu Junhai didn't care about anything, and rushed directly to the toilet. Finding a cubicle, he took off his pants and started. Lu Junhai heaved a sigh of relief, finally feeling comfortable. What are you doing? I ordered a high-end restaurant, which can spoil your stomach. Thinking of the embarrassing moment just now, his face turned black. Those guys, if they dare to speak out about this matter, just wait to accept his anger. But soon, he discovered something even more terrifying. There was no paper in the toilet. Lu Junhai's eyes turned dark. How could this kind of thing happen to him? This is too bad luck. Wait, Lu Junhai suddenly remembered Jang Yan's words just now, and then thought about what happened in just a few minutes. Isn't that kid talking nonsense? First, his father was in a car accident and broke 3 ribs, then his mother was almost hit by a beam, and then he started to have a stomachache for no reason, and the key was halfway through and found that there was no paper in the toilet. No matter how unlucky a person is, he won't be so unlucky. At this moment, Lu Junhai received another call from home. Son, something happened to your dad again. The ambulance carrying your dad crashed halfway into the guardrail. Fortunately, the people inside are fine, but your dad's rib is broken again. ... Because Lu Junhai didn't come back, the room didn't say whether he wanted it or not. The few people present could only stand there and stare at each other. After waiting for about 10 minutes, Lu Junhai rushed out of the toilet, with a lingering smell on his body. The 2 girls moved back without a trace. But Lu Junhai's attention was not on them. He walked up to Jang Yan quickly, and said with a face full of remorse, Master, I was the one who uttered wild words just now. I hope you don't remember the mistakes of villains. You must help me. Lu Junhai was about to cry. Every stall was checked when he came out of the toilet. All without paper. What happened in just 10 minutes caused his psychological defense to collapse. If he doesn't ask Jang Yan for help now, he feels that his life will be in danger the next second he leaves the hotel gate. Jang Yan did not expect that Lu Junhai's attitude would change so drastically. It seems that he must have encountered other things in the toilet. The props synthesized by the doomed siren are indeed terrifying. Jang Yan sighed leisurely. I can't help you with what happened to you. After all, I'm just an ordinary fortune teller, but if you want to get through this difficult time, you'd better go back to don't go out at home, just get through these few days. I'll get better after these few days. Lu Junhai found hope in his eyes. Yes, don't run around these few days. It's best not to put anything in the room, and don't contact anyone. It's best not to even eat, just drink some water. After 3 days, it's almost I can get rid of this bad luck-possessed state. Jang Yan looked serious on the surface, but it was really hard to hold back his laughter. He was worried that there was no place to test the effect of the divination crystal ball, so he sent people to his door. The key is still so arrogant. If you don't take this opportunity to punish the other party, how can you make it through? Thank you, Master, for pointing out the maze. I'll just go home and just stay there. Lu Junhai almost kowtowed to Jang Yan to thank him. Seeing that he was about to leave, the 2 girls hurriedly tried to follow. Lu Junhai avoided it like a snake. You all stay away from me. He didn't forget what Jang Yan said. It's best not to get in touch with anyone. The 2 girls were also speechless. Think they want to keep up. Lu Junhai's body stinks like he just rolled into a cesspit. Didn't they have money yet? Even though the business is not done, the money that should be given must not be less. Master Lu, You haven't paid the bill yet. One of the girls reminded. Will I owe you money? I'll transfer it to you later. Lu Janai said angrily. Handsome guy, it's best not to stay outside for too long, 1 more minute outside will be more dangerous. Jang Yan lowered his voice and said in a strange tone. That's right, that's right. Lu Janai came to his senses, and ran away without stopping. You don't need to return the room now, do you? Jang Yan looked at the dumbfounded waiter beside him. No, no, no. The waiter quickly waved his hand. Even Lu Janai was chasing after the person who called master, how dare he offend him? Just as Jang Yan was about to close the door, 2 girls led by Lu Janai suddenly surrounded him. Master, do you need to order? Our sisters can give you a 50% discount tonight. The older girl gave Jang Yan a wink. Compared with the greasy guy like Lu Janai, Jang Yan is the real handsome guy. Not to mention a 50% discount, even if they don't want money, their sisters are willing. Anyway, it was so late today, and there was no time to find other guests. No need. Jang Yan closed the door expressionlessly. Even if it's miserable for him to live in a love hotel as a single dog, not all women can catch his eye. Listening to their conversation with Lu Janai, you can tell what kind of stuff they are. Also play 50% off. If you tip him money, he doesn't even want it. ... Back in the room, Jang Yan felt that his ears were finally quiet. He carefully put the divination crystal ball into the inventory. This thing was too lethal, and he didn't even feel safe holding it in his hands when it wasn't necessary. But it's also really useful. The key is that other people are unlucky, and they have to be grateful to you. This is very interesting. In the future, whether you can use your hands or not, and solve troubles in a civilized way, is the highest state of a gentleman. Let's do the work first. Jang Yan took out 4 low-grade spirit stones, as well as the 10 bottles of topaz pills and 10 bottles of green jade pills he bought earlier. After combining all these, he will get 25 third-grade topaz pills and 25 green jade pills. But after thinking about it, Jang Yan still only synthesized 20 of each kind, and the rest were synthesized into 10 second-grade Wangyu pills and 10 second-grade green jade pills. He kept the third-rank ones for himself, and exchanged the second-rank ones for money. That's it. The next day, the first thing Jang Yan did when he woke up was to check the situation in the outer city. In the middle of the night yesterday, support from all over the world had arrived in Spring City one after another, and successfully repelled the beast horde before dawn. Because everyone is very experienced in evacuation, and besides the earth dragon and flying ants, there are not many monsters breaking into the outer city, so the casualties are still within the controllable range. In addition, the earth dragon caused a magnitude 9 earthquake in Chuncheon, and most buildings were damaged. The post-disaster restart cannot be completed in a short period of time. Many civilians who used to be outside the city have now become refugees, and naturally there is no way to go to the school. But the college entrance examination is a major event in life, and it must not be delayed. So the school gave everyone a 1-month-long vacation, and when it was time for the college entrance examination, they could go directly to schools in the inner city to take the exam. This is also allowed by the state and required to be enforced. No matter how unwilling the students in the inner city were, they could only complain. Jang Yan simply calculated the expenses before the college entrance examination. It was more than 3 weeks before the college entrance examination, rounded up it was considered as 1 month. In addition to the 4-figure rent per day, there is also a tax of 10,000. This is 300,000. Of course, traffic is no longer restricted. He can also choose to leave the inner city and sleep in a shack in the outer city. Just think about the environment there. Can't afford to hurt, can't afford to hurt. Still have to make money. Adertisement. During the day, Jang Yan wandered around the inner city and found a normal hotel again. Then I asked Wang Xiaoming and the others for the address, and asked the courier company to deliver the pill to them. He was too lazy to go there himself. Anyway, as long as you buy insurance, if you lose something, the insurance company will pay 10 times the compensation. For a while, Jang Yan lived a life of salted fish. 1 third-grade topaz pill and 1 third-grade green jade pill every day. It's all right, just walk around the inner city. Later, the effect of these two kinds of elixir on him was already negligible. So after eating what was in his hand, he didn't continue to synthesize it. In a blink of an eye, there are only 3 days left before the college entrance examination. Afraid of delaying the exam, many students moved into the inner city ahead of schedule. And due to special circumstances, the inner city directly exempts the tax for a few days before and after the college entrance examination, so that students from the outer city live in the inner city, and the financial pressure will not be so great. On this day, just as Jang Yan woke up, he received a call from Wang Xiaoming. It is said that the school teacher asked them to gather at number 1 middle school in the inner city to familiarize themselves with the examination room in advance. Jang Yan also bought a smartphone only after entering the inner city. So there has been no overtime class group, and naturally I have not been notified. After receiving the call, he took a taxi to the north gate of number 1 middle school in the inner city according to the address given by Wang Xiaoming. When Jang Yan arrived, many students from No. 9 middle school had already gathered at the north gate. He saw Su Mengran, who was dazzling in the crowd at a glance. The color of her slightly curly long hair is much lighter than last time, which shows that her ice-type spiritual power has improved a lot. With a perfect figure, even if you only wear a school uniform, you can't stop the perfect curve. Then there is her beautiful facial features. It is difficult for people not to take a second look. But there were only 1 or 2 people standing around her. This woman seems to be born with an aura that shields all the hustle and bustle around her. There are very few people who can get within 2 meters of her. Just as Jang Yan was about to go there, he suddenly heard 2 students from No. 1 middle school whispering beside him. So many people, are they all students from the outer city? It looks like we are not in the same world. My mother even asked me to ask for leave today and don't come to school. I heard that the outer city is very dirty and messy. They don't have viruses, do they? It's very possible. I'd like to suggest to the school. It's best to let them disinfect before entering the school. If they really bring some dirty things in, we will be the ones to suffer. It makes sense. But that blue-haired girl is so beautiful. This should be the performance of the ice-type spiritual veins, right? It's a pity that she was born in the outer city with such a great talent. If she had a registered permanent residence in the inner city, she would definitely be able to get a better education. My dad said that no matter how beautiful girls from the outer city are, they are all born lowly and unworthy of us. That's true, but she is really beautiful, much more beautiful than our school belle. The 2 students were chatting happily when they suddenly saw a man holding a black crystal ball walking towards them. You two, do you need free divination? Jang Yan asked with a mysterious face. Divination for free. One of the bespectacled men pushed the frame and stared at Jang Yan suspiciously. It seems that you are also a student. Do you really know how to do divination? Don't believe him. Look carefully at what he's wearing under his jacket. It's the school uniform of number 9 middle school. He looks so poor. He must be trying to scam us for money. Another boy in a plaid shirt said quickly. This classmate, I have already said that divination is free. If you don't give money, will I still rob you? In our business, we only do good deeds, and never for worldly fame and fortune. So I help people with divination and always it's all free. Jang Yan said righteously. Afterwards, he added in his heart, but the people who were divined by him did not end well. Then tell me, what did you get out of divination? The man with glasses seemed to be quite interested in divination, and he also felt that what Jang Yan said made sense. 2. First of all, I just want to remind you that your luck seems to be bad today, and you look like you are going to be in trouble. Jang Yan said in an exaggerated tone. Unlucky. The man with glasses was suddenly frightened. The boy in the plaid shirt was not easily fooled. I told you not to listen to him. Now that we are going to be unlucky, we will definitely start digging a hole in the next second, and wait for us to jump in. I have seen this kind of routine a lot on the internet. The boy in the plaid shirt snorted softly, looking at Jang Yan contemptuously. He said, poor ghosts should stay in the outer city honestly, come to the inner city to cheat money, be careful, I will call the police and arrest you. After finishing speaking, the boy in the plaid shirt turned around and wanted to leave, but he stepped on the loose shoelace and fell straight into a shit. Crack. Ah, there was only a crisp bone cracking sound, and a shrill scream. The boy in the plaid shirt likes to break a bone. Are you okay? Seeing this, the man in glasses hurried forward to help the boy in the plaid shirt. As a result, the boy in the plaid shirt was overweight. Just as he was halfway up, the man in glasses suddenly felt something was wrong, and let go suddenly, and the boy in the plaid shirt fell back hard again. Ouch! This fall, it hurts more. The boy in the plaid shirt shouted with complaints all over his face. What's the matter with you? I'm going to break my other leg when I ride a horse. The man with glasses supported his lower back, not daring to move. My waist seems to have flashed. Quote. The boy in the plaid shirt was completely speechless. The more the man in glasses thought about it, the more something went wrong, and a look of panic gradually appeared on his face. They looked at Jang Yan in unison. I saw Jang Yan was holding a crystal ball in his hand, looking at them helplessly. Let me tell you, your luck is not good today, and you will definitely suffer bad luck. That's all I have to say. You should take care of yourself. Seeing that Jang Yan was about to leave, the man with glasses panicked. Master, don't leave, you have to save us. The boy in the plaid shirt gritted his teeth, not sure whether he would live or die. Let him seek help from a country bumpkin in an outer city. He would rather have his leg broken like this. I can't do anything. Jang Yan shrugged. Perhaps it would be more appropriate for you to call an ambulance. The man with glasses was full of despair, so he had to take out his cell phone to make an emergency call, but found that the cell phone was out of battery. You should call. My phone is out of battery. The man with glasses said dejectedly. When people are unlucky, they really get stuck between their teeth when they drink cold water. He didn't know what it felt like before. Today is a feeling. The boy in the plaid shirt took out his mobile phone, and fell silent for a while. Why don't you fight? The man with glasses asked doubtfully. The screen is broken. Quote. In the end, the man with glasses asked passers-by for help and called the emergency call for them. Jang Yan came to the north gate of No. 1 middle school alone. Seeing Jang Yan, Wang Xiaoming immediately waved to him. We are here. Besides Su Mengran, Gao Yang and Xu Li were also there. As Jang Yan walked over, Wang Xiaoming began to chatter again. Jang Yan, you don't know. We came early today and met a few students from the No. 1 middle school. They were disgusting. They talked with their nostrils up to the sky. They kept calling us untouchables. If Gao Yang hadn't turned me on, hold on, I have to fight them directly. Wang Xiaoming said emotionally. People in the inner city are quite annoying. Although I have lived in Mengran's house for a while, I have met many people in the inner city who are not very friendly. Xu Li also sighed. No way, this is the status quo. People in the inner city have lived in a comfortable environment for a long time and have not suffered much. Many people have never even left the city in their entire lives. In their impression, the outer city is dirty and messy, and people living in the outer city are no different from beggars. Gao Yang spread his hands and said helplessly. Big cities, this phenomenon will be better. Strength is what everyone values. Su Mengran said suddenly. Look, Su Shalwa's words are very reasonable. We are not in the old world 300 years ago, so we should speak with strength. Relying on the elixir bought from Jang Yan, Wang Xiaoming has now broken through with one-handed strength more than 2,000 kilograms. The whole person is not confident. If he had encountered such a situation before, he would definitely not have the idea of doing it. Now it's time to show your strength. By the way, Jang Yan, what did you say to those 2 No. 1 middle school students just now? Why are they all looking like they are dying now? You won't beat them up? Wang Xiaoming asked in a low voice suddenly. He also just discovered the situation. Just about to go over to join in the fun, Jang Yan has already come here. What nonsense, I just had a friendly exchange with them. Jang Yan said solemnly. Everyone is a civilized person, talking about hands-on or not hands-on, it's not good at the gate of their school. He just saw the 2 students' rude words and wanted to teach them a little lesson. And he has figured out the rules of the divination crystal ball. If the result of his divination was just bad luck, then there would be no fatalities. But injuries are definitely inevitable. These brain-dead teenagers who have not been beaten by reality should use physical torture to let them experience the suffering of life. Friendly communication. Wang Xiaoming stared. Those two guys were lying on the dry ground, can they still be called friendly exchanges? If you say a few words, there is such power. He also wanted to communicate more with these one middle school students. Not long after, an ambulance stopped on the side of Byman Road. Several medical staff came down and moved the man with glasses and the boy in the plaid shirt onto the stretcher. As a result, when getting on the car, one of the stretchers broke directly from the middle. Unfortunately, the boy in the plaid shirt fell to the ground again. Only a scream sounded. My legs, my legs. The boy in the plaid shirt broke down and cried. Why does he get hurt again and again? Why is it him? An accident happened to the boy in the plaid shirt. The medical staff who took care of the man in glasses rushed to help, but unfortunately kicked a stone. When the stretcher tilted, the man in glasses fell directly on the boy in the plaid shirt. This time, the other leg of the plaid shirt boy was really broken. Oh, these two guys are really unlucky. Jang Yan shook his head. Holy shit, all of this is fine. Wang Xiaoming also looked very happy. Haha, it's so funny. Xu Li patted her legs and laughed, completely ignoring her ladylike image. Su Mengran also had a faint smile on her lips. At this moment, the head teacher of class 3 and 6 of senior high came over. We have already negotiated with the teacher of one middle school. Now everyone can go in and familiarize themselves with the examination room, but remember not to run around. We will come out in half an hour. Not good. No one dares to obey the orders above. But the tradition of inner-city dogs looking down on people has been crooked since the beginning. Otherwise, this group of low-quality students cannot be taught. When they came to other people's territory, even the students of Class 3 and Class 1 of 9 middle school didn't dare to hold their heads up and speak. It can be seen how much this place has dealt a blow to people's self-confidence. The students followed the teacher into one middle school through the north gate. To be honest, the scale of one middle school in the inner city is not as large as that of 9 middle school in the outer city. But after all, people's land is valuable, and a city protected by a defensive barrier is not an exaggeration to say that every inch of land is expensive. They first went to see the examination room of the written test, and then went to the gymnasium of number 1 middle school. But when he was at the gate of the gymnasium, he was stopped by the security guard at the gate. There are students in class inside, and idlers are not allowed to enter. The security guard said lazily. Brother security, we discussed it with Director Li. We just take the students in to have a look at the examination room, and then leave after watching. We won't disturb other students' studies. The teacher of 9 middle school immediately stepped forward to negotiate. No, today is the pre-exam quiz for Class A of our school's third year of high school. Come back after they are over. The security guard said impatiently. Hearing this, many students in 9th middle school became angry. It's just a security guard, and he dares to show his face, it's outrageous. Is it Director Li's official university or this security officer's university? Isn't 1 middle school so indiscriminate? Does the security guard have the same salary as the director? I found that most people in the inner city have mental problems. Knowing that we are from the outer city, we don't feel comfortable if we don't make trouble. This security guard obviously doesn't understand human language. He said that Director Li called us here, and he said we should leave within half an hour, but the security guard wouldn't let us into the gymnasium. So who should we listen to? Oh, of course I listened to the security guard. Number 1 middle school is so different. It's a key middle school, and it's all up to a security guard. Haha, then let's just wait, who is afraid of whom? Anyway, I have already recorded the video, and when the time comes, I will upload it to the internet and let everyone comment on it. I have to say that many students have good eloquence. Hearing these discussions, the security guard was in a bad mood. He just wanted to make things difficult for these untouchables from the outer city, who knew they would bring Director Li out to speak. And someone recorded a video. If this is really sent out, wouldn't his job be lost? Forget it. The security guard still didn't dare to go too far. He waved his hand and said, go in if you want to, I don't care what happens if there is any accident. Those in Class A of the third year of high school are not as easy talking as he is. Although it is stipulated that hands are not allowed in the city, those little fools have a lot of tricks to punish people. The teacher can't control them, let alone these untouchables from the outer city. After entering, there must be enough for them to drink a pot. The students in 9th middle school disagreed. What accidents can happen in the inner city? Those students in the gymnasium, can you still beat them up? When the time comes, they will call the police every minute. Whoever dares to do anything will have to go to prison honestly. I believe that no one would be so stupid as to jump into the fire pit by himself. Walking into the gate of the gymnasium, the students of No. 9 middle school had not had time to see the whole picture of the examination room clearly before they found a pair of eyes looking at them. The place was eerily quiet. At this time, a female teacher with an excellent figure walked towards them with a smile. Everyone are friends from No. 9 middle school. The female teacher brushed the hair next to her ears, and said with a smile, I heard that you are coming to familiarize yourself with the examination room today, but my students happen to have a small test today, so I will take the test in advance. The gymnasium is occupied, you don't mind? Of course not. This is the venue of your number 1 middle school. We are very embarrassed to interrupt you suddenly, and we must not delay your students' test because of this. The teacher in charge of No. 9 middle school responded politely. Then you can take a look. After finishing speaking, the female teacher suddenly added a few words. By the way, the testing equipment used in our school may be somewhat different from that in the outer city. If you don't know how to use it, it won't affect your performance. That's so embarrassing, the leading teacher of No. 9 middle school said quickly, and we have already agreed with Director Lee that we will leave your school in half an hour, so as not to disturb your students in class. What's wrong with this? I'll just call Director Lee. The female teacher immediately took out her mobile phone and called Director Lee. After 2 minutes, she hung up the phone. It's all done. The female teacher pointed to the few instruments outside. You can just use these few strength testers, we can use the 2 inside. Then thank you very much. The team leader teacher of No. 9 middle school could only thank him helplessly. Is this the friendliness shown by Yijong? Not really. Take the test with the students of Class A of Senior 3 of No. 1 middle school, and their students will only be slapped in the face mercilessly. It is not a good thing to be hit with self-confidence at the juncture of the college entrance examination. But the key point is that there is nothing wrong with what people say. Facing a brand new instrument, if you are not familiar with it, it will easily affect your performance. But next to them are students from their Class A. I really don't know if this is a coincidence or just bad luck. However, most of the students in 9th middle school didn't think of this level, and even praised the female teacher for her kindness. And there are already students who spontaneously lined up to try out the new instrument. At first everyone was excited, but soon they stopped laughing. Tian Dao, one-handed strength is 5,342 kilograms. It's very good for a fighter who has just advanced to achieve this result. Cao Haidong, with one-handed strength of 11,659 kilograms, is awesome. He deserves to be in the top 5 of the grade in the last monthly exam. He will definitely get better results in the college entrance exam this time. Lu Wen, one-handed strength is 8,720 kilograms, which is a lot better than the last test. It seems that Lu has worked hard in private. Ren Hongkai, one-handed strength is 9,540 kilograms. Class A next to him tested 10 people in a row, and 8 of them had the strength of a first-order warrior, and 3 of them even had a one-handed strength of more than 10,000 kilograms. What is this concept? There are only a few first-level fighters in Class 1 of the 3rd year of number 9 middle school, and their single-handed strength does not exceed 6,000 kilograms. Anyone who takes out any of them can instantly kill them. Not to mention other classes, more than 95% of the students only have a single-handed strength of a few hundred kilograms. Not even 1/10 of others. This can no longer be described as miserable. The most tragic thing is that Class A of No. 1 middle school has a small number of people, so they came to watch them after the test. Unfortunately, most of the top students in Class 1 of 9th middle school have already finished the test. For the rest of the students, the test results all had only 3 digits. Haha, it's too exaggerated, so the 9th middle school only has this level. You think highly of the students from the outer city. This is their general level. I heard that if they produce a martial artist, they will set off firecrackers to celebrate for 3 days and 3 nights. This kind of rubbish school, to be able to come to our school to take the exam is simply to accumulate evil virtues for 8 lifetimes. I also said that I wanted to discuss with their students, but now it seems that I should forget it. I am afraid that if I punch them, I will send them to see the King of Hades. Then I will be at a loss. The students in Class A of No. 1 middle school have no scruples about speaking, even commenting on the students for each test. The students in 9th middle school were all red-eyed. But it was different from when facing the security guard at the door. They dare not refute, and have no way to refute. People are strong. Anyone who picks out a student at random is a warrior. From an extreme point of view, there is nothing wrong with what people say. They are weak, so they can only accept it. Faced with this situation, the teachers of 9th middle school were also very helpless. If it was their own students, they must have spoken out to stop it. But their teachers didn't speak, and they were not qualified to discipline them. At this time, it was the turn of the 3rd and 6th classes of the 9th middle school. Wang Xiaoming couldn't wait any longer. Let me go first. Looking at the 3-digit test scores of other classes, Wang Xiaoming was anxious to death. In their school, there are also many people with one-handed strength of several thousand kilograms, okay. It's just not as exaggerated as Yizhong. He must correct the concept of these people. Wang Xiaoming walked up to the strength tester with arrogance, and the spiritual power in his body began to circulate crazily, and immediately threw out a punch. Boom! Unlike the old version of the strength tester in number 9 middle school, the strength tester in number 1 middle school can jump out of the results in an instant. And Wang Xiaoming's test result was 2,349 kilograms. Seeing this scene, the students in the 3rd and 6th classes of high school were all stunned. Our class, why are you trying to be fierce recently? Last time it was Jang Yan, this time it was Wang Xiaoming. Is it popular now that one-handed strength can be multiplied tenfold? Fatty is awesome, he has brought glory to our class 6. It's the first time I found out that Wang Xiaoming is so handsome. Looking at his round face, I feel a little cute. Probably because it has been too long without a 4-digit result, Wang Xiaoming's performance immediately won everyone's praise. Moreover, it was the first time that Wang Xiaoming heard someone praise him for being handsome, and he was about to float into the sky. 2 million, worth the money. But at this moment, Wang Xiaoming's face suddenly changed, and he seemed to be hit by something, and he flew upside down, and then fell heavily on the ground. Seeing Wang Xiaoming covering his chest and spitting blood, everyone reacted. Someone dares to do it here. Jang Yan and Gao Yang also went to help. It's okay, I shouldn't die. Wang Xiaoming stood up staggeringly, and then suddenly cursed. Sao Nima, who dares to play dirty tricks, you have the guts to stand up. As soon as Wang Xiaoming said this, many students in Class A of No. 1 middle school burst into laughter. In their view, Wang Xiaoming was nothing but incompetent and furious. Since someone dares to do something, he is naturally sure that he will not be caught. On the contrary, Wang Xiaoming yelled and looked like a fool. The faces of teachers and students in 9th middle school were extremely ugly. The test results were trampled underfoot, and they all accepted it. After all, they are not as strong as others. But in front of so many people, he sneaked up on the students of their number 9 middle school. This is already a blatant slap in the face of their number 9 high school. The key is that these guys still laugh so arrogantly. It's so deceiving. Jang Yan looked around, and there was no way to find out who did it from so many people. But the remaining spiritual fluctuations in the air came from Class A of No. 1 middle school. The teachers at number 9 middle school apparently also discovered this. Whoever made the move, please stand up. The leader teacher of No. 9 middle school looked gloomily at the students of Class A of No. 1 middle school who were watching. Teacher, what do you mean by saying this to my students? The beautiful female teacher of Class A came out of the crowd with a look of displeasure. The fluctuation of spiritual power just now spread out from the crowd in your Class A. The team leader teacher of 9th middle school said in a deep voice. Ah, the beautiful female teacher's eyes widened in surprise. Spiritual power fluctuations. Where is there any spiritual power fluctuations? I didn't feel any spiritual power fluctuations here in Class A. What I said just now. The leading teacher of No. 9 middle school had already gritted his teeth. This woman is talking nonsense with her eyes open. Although only warriors can feel this subtle fluctuation of spiritual power, so many teachers in 9th high school all have the strength of warriors. Are they really just a show? Have you noticed spiritual fluctuations around you? The beautiful female teacher turned around and asked. No, all the students in Class A shook their heads. Look, the beautiful female teacher spread her hands helplessly. 80% of the students in my class are warriors, and none of them noticed any fluctuations in spiritual power. It seems that it was just a misunderstanding. The students in Class A of No. 1 middle school echoed one after another. That's right, that fat man might as well think about whether he has offended anyone or not, and don't blame us casually. Single-handed 2,000 kilograms, he is so proud. It's normal for some people to dislike him. Looking at how he flew out, it's really funny. If you don't have evidence, you dare to come out and wrong people, be careful to sue you for slander. The inner city is a society ruled by law, not the dirty and messy slums like your outer city. Hearing this, the teachers and students of 9th middle school were about to explode with anger. Forget about the students, even the teachers don't know right from wrong. What's wrong with this? He also said that the place where they lived was dirty and messy. Obviously this place is rotten to the bone. Forget it, we have an accident. The teacher leading the team walked up to Wang Xiaoming and patted him on the shoulder. Wait, I will apply for a washaway pill from the school to ensure that your body can be restored to the best condition, and it will not affect your health, to the college entrance examination. Let's go now. I haven't settled the score with these grandchildren yet. Wang Xiaoming was so angry that his eyes were red. If the head teacher didn't hold him back, he might have rushed over to beat them. Although he knew he couldn't beat him, everyone was riding on his head to shit and piss. Don't argue with this tone, he's afraid that he won't be able to sleep well. According to what you said, you can do it without evidence. Just then, a gentle and cold voice sounded. Everyone looked back, only to see a beautiful figure walking out of the crowd of the 3rd and 6th classes of high school. Is this person a student from 9th middle school? There is such a top grade in 9th high school, why didn't I find out just now? This is Su Mengran, the school belle of 9th middle school. I've seen her photos on the internet a long time ago. She is very talented. Unfortunately, she went to a school in the outer city, and her birth is probably quite ordinary. If this is the beauty of our school, I will definitely be the first to chase after her. It shouldn't be difficult to chase after. The female students in the outer city can get it done with just a little money. Haha, wait, who will try? Seeing Su Mengran, many boys from Class A of the number 1 middle school all started talking there. Su Mengran's face turned cold, but she didn't lose her temper immediately. Instead, she looked at the beautiful female teacher in Class A and asked, "Teacher, is what I just said right?" Without evidence, of course we can't just wrong people, the female teacher said with a smile. But as soon as she finished speaking, she heard a pop. The beautiful female teacher turned her head to the side strangely. A huge red handprint gradually appeared on her face, half of her face was swollen. There was a moment of silence. Everyone looked at Su Mengran, but they saw that she was standing there with her hands folded around her chest. She did not move at all, and there was not even a trace of spiritual power fluctuations in her body. How dare you hit me? The beautiful female teacher hesitated for a few seconds, finally came back to her senses, and looked at Su Mengran with disbelief. Teacher, how can you wrong me? I'm standing here, who saw me do it? I just asked out of curiosity just now, so I won't be guilty of just saying a few words, right? Su Mengran said with an innocent face. You, the beautiful female teacher choked up and almost couldn't breathe. Instead of doubting me, teacher, why don't you think that you have offended someone? Teacher is so beautiful, there must be many people who are jealous of you. Su Mengran blinked her big eyes and continued, but it must not be me. Well, after all, I look better than the teacher. Looking at Su Mengran's little expression, Jang Yan felt for the first time that this little girl was a little cute. And he did what he wanted to do. If he guessed right, Su Mengran should have used the Death Soul token. Just a slap in the face will not cause much loss to the dead souls sealed in the Death Soul order. But the effect is good. She didn't look at the female teacher opposite, her face turned blue with anger. Su Mengran just returned what the beautiful female teacher said to her. According to the female teacher, as long as there is no evidence, even if she is slapped, she can only endure it. Chapter 39. Su Mengran's words made Class A of No. 1 middle school speechless. Because Su Mengran was standing in front of them. But even if they stared out their eyes, they couldn't see how Su Mengran moved his hand. Of course, it can't be ruled out that Su Mengran is playing cover in front, and someone is secretly doing tricks behind him. But there are so many people present. Even if they wanted to find the person who did it, they couldn't do it at all. In an instant, the confidence of 9th high school came back. They were only beaten by a student, but it was the teacher who was beaten in No. 1 middle school. And it's still a slap in the face. In front of everyone, he slapped his face directly. What could be better than this? At this time, the teacher who led the team found a washway pill and fed it to Wang Xiaoming. Wang Xiaoming, who was originally pale, immediately became alive and well. Haha, I'm alive again. Wang Xiaoming moved his hands and feet, feeling that he was in better condition than ever before. Although washway pill is used to treat internal injuries, its ingredients overlap with shishui pill. After recovering from the injury, he felt that his physique had grown a bit. This beating was not in vain. Teacher, shall we still test? Someone asked suddenly. Don't leave. Cao Haidong, who had a one-handed strength of 11,659 kilograms in Class A, came out. He said provocatively, didn't you come to familiarize yourself with the examination room? If you want to leave after such a small friction, don't you know that the school doesn't have any good students, so you want to find an excuse to slip away? The leading teacher of No. 9 middle school's eyes sank, and he gritted his teeth and said, test, continue to test. They have already detected the 3rd and 6th classes of high school. There is Su Mengran in Class 6, Grade 3, who should more or less save the school's face. How precious is the ice-type spiritual root, let alone Su Mengran's 6th class cultivation talent. No one present can catch up with her. Even Class A of No. 1 middle school is the same. Director, do you want the students in our class to take the test again? The teacher of Class 1 of No. 9 middle school stepped forward and asked in a low voice. There are at least a few Tier 1 warriors in their class, and there are more than a dozen of them who surpass Wang Xiaoming in one-handed strength. It won't be too embarrassing to take it out. It won't work. The teacher in charge shook his head. Do you think they don't know which classes we have tested? They just deliberately waited for our side to finish the test with good grades, and then came to watch the fun. In this case, the class will retest, we'll only let them find an excuse to laugh at us. That's right, the teacher of Class 1 of 9th middle school sighed. The few top students in his class are usually so proud. But today, everyone was like a quail, unable to say a word when they were hit. And even if they were asked to take the test again, Tingpo Tian would not be able to match their results. Or take one step at a time. Su Mengran, you go. The team leader teacher called directly. Yes, Su Mengran nodded slightly, turned around and walked towards the strength tester. When she came to the strength tester, she thought for a while, concentrated the ice-type spiritual power on the palm of her hand, and then slapped it heavily on the target. In Setsuna, bursts of cold air permeated the air. A layer of ice condensed on the surface of the strength tester. On the screen of the strength tester, there was a number that was unimaginable for everyone. 28,960 kilograms. Am I not dazzled, or am I hallucinating? Su Shalwa is a spiritual master, she is a spiritual master. The physical strength of a spiritual master is far inferior to that of a warrior. After a long time, Su Shalwa has been hiding her strength. What is her real cultivation level? Could it be that she is already a second-level spiritual master? I don't know. There are too few relevant statistics for spiritual masters. Anyway, a warrior's one-handed strength reaches 50,000, which is the standard for a second-level warrior. The physical strength of a spiritual master is slightly weaker. With a one-handed strength of close to 30,000, it should be far away from the second-level warrior. The spiritual master is not far away. For a while, there were many discussions on the scene. But Jang Yan knew that Su Mengran definitely didn't use all his strength. Tier 2 healer. On the basis of this number, doubling may be about the same. However, this score alone was enough for Xu Mengran to be admitted to a key university. Now, on the side of Class A of No. 1 middle school, everyone was dumbfounded. 30,000. An ice healer has a one-handed strength of nearly 30,000, stronger than the first in their class. What a pervert. Think about if Xu Mengran did it himself just now. That slap slapped their teacher's face, fearing that his head would be blown off. Originally, he wanted to humiliate these guys, but in the end he slapped himself in the face with his backhand. One can imagine the feeling in the hearts of the students of Class A. But there are also people who are not convinced. HMPH, it's just a special case. The 9th middle school is also lucky to recruit such a super genius, but a single case does not represent the overall level of the school. If they can produce another one-handed strength of 30,000, I will go directly to the school. Running naked on the playground. Cao Haidong vowed. Hearing this, Xu Mengran walked up to Jang Yan and whispered, "Did you hear that? That man said he was going to run naked, why don't you give him a favor?" Quote ? Jang Yan had question marks all over his head. Xu Mengran suddenly came to tell him this. Could it be that he wanted to drag him into the water together? He still wanted to wait for the college entrance examination before displaying his strength, but fortunately, he was a blockbuster in the examination room. Now I'm pretending to be forced. What is there to look forward to in the college entrance examination? I've asked Xu Li to record it, and he has no way to deny it. Xu Mengran added. Okay. Jang Yan immediately agreed. Today he must run naked. Soon, it was Jang Yan's turn. The atmosphere in Class 3 and 6 of senior high school became lively again. Finally, it's Jang Yan's turn. His single-handed strength is more than 3,000 kilograms, right? It's been more than a month, and it may have weighed 4,000 kilograms. Don't forget that in the last test, Jang Yan's one-handed strength has increased by more than 10 times. Handsome and strong, I don't know if he is still single. You're a man, why do you care about whether someone is single? You won't be gay by my side, right? What are you thinking? I'm going to introduce my sister to him. Hearing the discussion from No. 9 middle school, Class A of No. 1 middle school naturally didn't miss the opportunity to ridicule. You can blow like this with a single-handed strength of 3,000 kilograms. In our class, isn't that the bottom of the class? Cao Haidong is right. There is only one Xu Mengran in the 9th high school who can handle it, but there is only one like this in decades. The strength of 3,000 kilograms in one hand makes them so excited, it is not shameful. Jang Yan ignored the various voices coming from around him. He came to the strength tester, moved his wrist, and the spiritual power in his body slowly circulated. In fact, he is not sure how many kilograms his one-handed strength has reached. However, he took 23rd grade Wangyu pills and 23rd grade green jade pills this month. Although the effect became worse and worse, the improvement was obvious. According to his estimation, at least not less than 30,000. We'll know right away what the result is. Jang Yan's eyes were fixed, and he punched hard on the target of the strength tester. Boom! With a loud bang, a series of numbers were displayed on the instrument screen. 39,465 kilograms. Shocked the audience directly. As a warrior, every level of promotion has a huge gap in the middle. One-handed strength from 5,000 to 10,000 may not be a difficult task. As long as you use a lot of pills, you can always hit this result. But from 10,000 to 50,000, this is not a problem with pills. If a person's cultivation talent can't keep up, taking more pills is useless. Unless you can fundamentally improve your physique. Just like Jang Yan, his initial cultivation talent was only second class. However, with the improvement of the advanced version of Huang Yudin and the addition of a large number of third-grade pills, his one-handed strength will improve by leaps and bounds in a short period of time. But even so, when it was close to 40,000 kilograms, a bottleneck appeared. At this time, the only way to solve this problem is to improve one's talent or take a higher quality elixir. So when they saw Jang Yan's results, many people couldn't believe it. Are you sure the 9th high school isn't teasing us? A person who had a one-handed strength of 3,000 kilograms a month ago has actually increased tenfold in one-handed strength now. It's not so strong if you eat pills like a meal. Impossible, impossible, absolutely impossible. I've heard of Xu Mengran's name, but where did this brat named Jang Yan come from? I haven't graduated from high school yet, and my strength is almost close to that of a second-tier warrior. Is this reasonable? Ninth high school is really Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I was shocked when I saw Xu Mengran's results just now. I didn't expect that there would be another one with a one-handed strength of nearly 40,000 kilograms. Just these two people can fully support the high school students in 9th high school. It's the door. As for the students of 9th middle school, they were completely speechless by Jang Yan's grades. Even the teachers in several classes all had choked expressions on their faces, and they all blushed. But of course they weren't really choking, but too excited. Their school unexpectedly produced such an awesome student with a one-handed strength of nearly 40,000 kilograms, which directly broke the highest historical record of their number. 9 high school. 20 years ago, their number 9 high school also produced a genius. That genius was born like Jang Yan. But relying on amazing talent and opportunity, the strength of one hand has exceeded 30,000 kilograms before the college entrance examination. But that was decades ago. No one could have imagined that Jang Yan, a genius like Jang Yan, could emerge from 9th middle school now. This is definitely a great event to celebrate. Of course, some people are happy and some are sad. For example, Wang Peng and Zhao Xiyu didn't look pretty. Long before, Wang Peng had uttered harsh words to teach Jang Yan a lesson. But now that Jang Yan's test results are out, it's really hard to say who will teach who in the future. Zhao Xiyu was so regretful that his intestines were green. She finally understood what it means to make a wrong step and make a wrong step. If she had known that she should have lowered her attitude the last time she approached Jang Yan, now seeing Jang Yan's test results, she didn't even have the courage to talk to Jang Yan. At first, she was thinking that Jang Yan was angry at the time, and when his anger subsided, she would definitely come back to find her. It happened that the college entrance examination was about to come, so she also put her mind on the exam. Unexpectedly, in just 1 month, Jang Yan has become an existence that she can no longer reach. His single-handed strength is close to 40,000. At this rate, the freshman is a second-tier martial artist. What kind of woman can't be found by then? Even with Xu Mengran, there is no chance at all. Didn't someone say to run naked just now? Suddenly, a yell sounded from the crowd of No. 9 middle school. Yes, so many of us have heard it, some people will not play tricks. Wang Xiaoming immediately echoed loudly. Most of the students in 9th middle school also booed. Streaking, streaking, streaking. They haven't forgotten how these guys humiliated them just now. And running naked is not what they said. You can't live by doing your own crimes. Do you really think that their schools in outer cities are easy to fool? But no matter how booed by 9th middle school, there was no movement from Class A. Why do I look down on these fools? Wang Xiaoming took the drink that had just been opened in Gao Yang's hand, and then precisely threw it at Cao Haidong's feet. Where is the person? Is he dead? Can't talk. Gao Yang, cursing belongs to cursing, why throw his drink? Wang Xiaoming patted Gao Yang's chest with his backhand. Brother, I'll buy you 10 bottles later, so you can drink enough. Gao Yang. Cao Haidong looked at the water stains splashed on his trousers with a gloomy and terrifying expression. He was just talking casually, how could he really go naked? How dare you challenge him openly? Could it be that he was discovered by this fat man just now? It doesn't make sense. It was special equipment he had just acquired and had never been used publicly. If it weren't for someone with extremely strong spiritual power, it would be impossible to find out that he was doing it just by fluctuating spiritual power. Cao Haidong, don't be bored, just say a few words, don't let those untouchables on the opposite side see our jokes. Seeing that Cao Haidong was silent, a student beside him immediately reminded him. This kind of thing is embarrassing for them. But the disaster was caused by Cao Haidong, and he must solve it by himself. Just as Cao Haidong was about to speak, the female teacher of Class A stood up. It's all children's jokes, how can we take it seriously? This matter is wrong on our side. I apologize to everyone. How about you? Child, Wang Xiaoming laughed loudly. You call this guy who is nearly 2 meters tall a kid? Then do you have to call him grandson? I can understand if the seniority is here. Hearing this, the 9th high school burst into laughter. I didn't realize that Wang Xiaoming's mouth is so damaged. Jang Yan was a little dumbfounded. This scolding included both of them. His face became deformed without seeing it. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in the direction of the gymnasium gate. Why is the gymnasium so lively today? I saw a boy in a flowered shirt, a little sloppy, walking towards this side. Seeing the person coming, Jang Yan couldn't help raising his eyebrows. Can you meet acquaintances here? The students in Class A of No. 1 middle school were also excited. Lu Janai is here. He has been on leave for a month, and he is finally willing to come to school. It's all right now, with Lu Janai backing Cao Haidong. Even if the entire 9th middle school is added up, there's nothing we can do about Cao Haidong. When Lu Janai loses his temper, the principal doesn't dare to do anything to him, let alone these small characters. It really annoys Lu Janai. Maybe the test site for these guys has to be moved from the gymnasium to the playground outside. Just wait and see, the fun has just begun. Cao Haidong heaved a sigh of relief and hurried up to meet him. Brother Jun, you're here. Cao Haidong came to Lu Junhai with a smile on his face. What's going on here? Lu Junhai pointed to the students of the 9th middle school next to him. Who are these guys? They don't look like people from our school. Cao Haidong immediately recounted what had happened. Are you kidding me? Lu Junhai looked at Cao Haidong suspiciously. The place where the geniuses of their class gathered was actually compared by 2 students from No. 9 middle school in the outer city. Now Cao Haidong is still being threatened to let him go out naked. It's really like there is no one among them, right? Who is this person on the opposite side? He seems to have a high status. Wang Xiaoming asked with his arms folded and his chin raised. I checked just now. Shu Li looked at the information on the phone. Lu Junhai, his uncle is the richest man in Spring City, and his family is in charge of 80% of the medicinal material business in the inner city. He is always very rich. I heard that the gymnasium of No. 1 middle school was built with money from his family. The nephew of the richest man. Wang Xiaoming pouted. This relationship is strong enough. Although he didn't want to admit it, but to be associated with the richest man, it must be extremely powerful. How could ordinary people like them in the outer city win the fight? If Cao Haidong really had Lu Junhai's backing, then they probably had nothing to do with him. Even if the recorded video is sent out, people can find someone to delete it immediately. Jang Yan didn't expect Lu Junhai to be so rich. There is an uncle who is the richest man in the family, and he still goes to that kind of love hotel that costs hundreds of dollars. It doesn't look like it's quite economical. Haidong, we have been friends for 2 or 3 years. I will definitely not just sit idly by and ignore you being bullied. Don't worry, I will keep you safe today. Lu Junhai patted Cao Haidong on the shoulder, and immediately turned to look at the students of No. 9 middle school. Who is the person who measured more than 30,000 kilograms with one-handed strength just now? Stand up and I know him. He knew exactly where the crux of the matter was. This kind of thing, the school teachers can't manage it, and it's not easy to manage it. So you still have to talk to the master. As Lu Junhai finished speaking, a slender figure stepped out from the crowd of No. 9 middle school. This person is finished. Haha, he doesn't know what he's about to face yet. So what about geniuses? In the face of absolute status, geniuses can only lie on their stomachs. The students in Class A of No. 1 middle school all started discussing excitedly. There was also a sneer on Cao Haidong's face. But Lu Junhai stood there in a daze. Just when everyone was wondering why Lu Junhai hadn't moved for a long time, he suddenly rushed in front of Jang Yan, pulled Jang Yan's hand excitedly and said, Master, that's great, I didn't expect that I would see you again, you were really a lifesaver. Killed me. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. Everyone has question marks on their faces. What's going on? Lu Junhai didn't come to support Cao Haidong. How can I see Jang Yan, but it is the same as seeing the savior. Still rushing forward to call someone else's master. Cao Haidong's mind was even more frustrating. He had never seen Lu Junhai treat anyone like this. Could it be that the guy on the opposite side has some hidden identity? For an existence that even Lu Junhai can't afford to offend, wouldn't he be finished? Handsome guy, if you have something to say, don't move your hands. Jang Yan pulled his hand out after losing his strength. It can be seen from this that Lu Junhai's strength is not low, no matter what he has to start as a warrior. Master, you don't know how dangerous I was some time ago, especially on the way back. I almost died several times. Thanks to my listening to you, I locked myself in the room and didn't see anyone. 3 days later, it will be fine, but I still don't feel relieved. I played games at home for a whole month before I came back to school. Lu Junhai found an upright reason for himself to play games. Of course, he was also really scared. What happened that day simply cannot be explained by science. He is really worried if he is not locked up at home for a longer period of time. Hee, as long as you're fine. Jang Yan laughed dryly twice, and quickly changed the subject. By the way, it's better for others not to interfere with your friend's matter. Everything has karma, and if he doesn't keep his promise, he's quite you lied to everyone present, and it will be a lot of trouble in the future, so don't get involved in this muddy water. Hearing this, Lu Junhai shuddered. He was so unlucky some time ago. Could it be that he did too many bad things? No, he must do more good deeds in the future. He still has hundreds of millions of property to inherit. How could he die young? No wonder his uncle was always doing charity, donating money here or there. He must learn from this in the future. Thinking of this, Lu Junhai looked back at Cao Haidong. Since you made a bet with someone, you have to fulfill your promise if you lose. If you are a man, be brave enough to take off your clothes and go out for a couple of laps before you come back. Otherwise, I will give you money last month. I can only consider changing the job I introduced to someone else. Hearing this, Cao Haidong's face turned pale. What he was most worried about happened. This Jang Yan is definitely some kind of hidden boss. Otherwise, based on his relationship with Lu Junhai, he would definitely not let him go, let alone threaten him with his father's job. Others couldn't understand it. No matter how hard it is to say a few words, Cao Haidong's boss now obeys Jang Yan's words. This is too magical. Go soon. Lu Junhai frowned. Yes. Cao Haidong gritted his teeth and began to undress in front of everyone. The girls present quickly turned around, or covered their eyes. Where have they seen this scene before? It's so exciting. Su Mengran also blocked it with her hands, fearing that it would burn her eyes. Lu Junhai stripped down to only a pair of underpants, and was stopped by Jang Yan. Let's just leave it at that. Let's run naked again. We can't be indecent, Jang Yan said very understandingly. Cao Haidong heaved a sigh of relief, fearing that Jang Yan would repent. He rushed out of the stadium as fast as he could. Master, can we say a few words alone? Lu Junhai suddenly lowered his voice. Okay. Jang Yan nodded, followed Lu Junhai out of the crowd, and came to the corner of the gymnasium. What's the matter? Just tell me. Master, you should have heard about it. In fact, my uncle is the richest man in Spring City. He has encountered a little trouble recently. I think those things are really weird, so I would like to invite you to go and have a look. With your way, master, you must be better than him. Those charlatans my uncle hired are much better. Lu Junhai now trusts Jang Yan unconditionally. The main reason is that I have seen Jang Yan's ability, and if he said he was going to be in bad luck, it really came true immediately. He has never served a few people in his life, but Jang Yan can definitely be counted as one. Handsome guy, it's not that I don't want to help you, but I don't know the specific situation now, so I really can't promise you anything, and the college entrance examination will be in 3 days, so I definitely can't be distracted. Before Jang Yan finished speaking, Lu Junhai went on to say, my uncle took out a magic weapon of space as a reward. You really don't want to try it. Even if you don't get it done, you won't suffer any losses. There are many people who try it every day. Let's go. Hearing the word space magic weapon, Jang Yan admitted that he was moved. And it's crazy. The magic weapon of space is also called Xiaodongtian. The internal area is usually not too large. There are a few hundred square meters, which is already considered very good. The biggest difference from the storage bag storage ring is that the magic weapon of space can hold living things. Doesn't this just make up for his shortcomings? He wasn't a serious fortune teller in the first place, he was just pretending to be holding a crystal ball. So when Lu Junhai asked him for help, he was actually quite guilty. But if the reward is really a magic weapon of space, then he would rather be a charlatan. Anyway, Lu Junhai also said it. Those who went to his uncle were all charlatans. Not more than him. Then I'll accompany you to take a look later. Jang Yan asked tentatively. Okay. Lu Janai immediately beamed with joy. Because of Lu Junhai's appearance, and Cao Haidong's compromise. This farce is finally over. But Jang Yan's identity has become a mystery in everyone's mind. Originally, Jang Yan was just an unknown little guy. Some time ago, there was gossip with Zhao Xiyu, and it was only known by many people in the school. But when he appeared in front of everyone again, it was with such an astonishing gesture. Not only is his single-handed strength close to 40,000 kilograms, but he also knows the big shots in the inner city. A few words can make Cao Haidong, who is extremely arrogant, take off his clothes honestly and run naked on the playground. Who can do such a thing? Jang Yan also knew that he was a little too popular today. But 3 days later is the college entrance examination. After the exam is over, he'll just get out of here, and he doesn't care what other people think of him. I believe Su Mengran also thinks the same way. That's why I showed my strength a little bit during the test. Jang Yan greeted Wang Xiaoming and others, then followed Lu Junhai and left No. 1 middle school. This time, they walked through the south gate. I saw a flamboyant red sports car parked on the side of the road, and there was an extremely conspicuous ticket on the front of the car. Lu Junhai walked over and skillfully threw away the ticket, then patted the car and said, "My uncle gave me a coming-of-age gift, 8 million, how about it, isn't it good?" "Well, it's okay, the color suits you quite well," Jang Yan commented objectively. "Master, you have vision. My parents thought the color I chose was too vulgar. They don't know what fashion is." Lu Junhai was also observing Jang Yan's reaction while speaking. Seeing the 8 million sports car, Jang Yan didn't even bat an eye. Could it be that a car at this price can't catch Jang Yan's eyes? When he first received this gift, he was excited for several days. It seems that Jang Yan is indeed a master. If he can successfully solve his uncle's troubles, then he will have made great contributions to the family. "Master, let's go," Lu Junhai said impatiently. Half an hour later, Lu Junhai's sports car stopped at the door of a villa. This villa is located in the most upscale villa area in the inner city, but it occupies a larger area than any surrounding villas. The small garden at the entrance alone is equivalent to the area of the gymnasium of No. 1 middle school. In front of the gate, there are 7 or 8 security guards patrolling back and forth. There is also a servant who has been standing by the roadside for a long time. "Master Lu, sir is already waiting for you in the living room." Seeing Lu Junhai's sports car, the servant immediately stepped forward and said respectfully, "Park the car for me." After getting out of the car, Lu Junhai threw the car keys to the servant, then looked back at Jang Yan and said, "Master, let's go in." After Jang Yan got off the car, he took a look at the surrounding environment. It can only be said that it is worthy of being the residence of the richest man. From the decoration at the door to the flowers and plants in the garden inside, all he saw was white silver. It's no wonder that Lu Junhai is only his nephew, so he can get along smoothly in No. 1 middle school. This is probably the one who attains the Tao and ascends to heaven. Jang Yan followed Lu Junhai into the gate. Along the way, Lu Junhai was introducing him to various plants in the garden. "Did you see those blue plants just now? I heard that the variety in the world of the heavens is worth hundreds of thousands, and it will glow at night. There is also the fruit tree on the left, which consumes 1 spirit bead every day to cultivate, and the fruit it produces is delicious, and our family can only get 1 or 2 every year. By the way, there is also a small flower field in front of it, which is full of spirit-gathering grasses. Practicing nearby will get twice the result with half the effort." Lu Junhai talked enthusiastically to himself, but Jang Yan didn't react much. He can name most of the plants in this small garden. If there is something he doesn't know, it must be because the level is not enough. In his previous life, he learned 8 life professions at the same time. And it happens to be herbal specialization. Based on his understanding of various plants, Lu Junhai was just playing tricks in front of him. Finally, they walked through the small garden and came to the villa. Several servants stood respectfully on both sides of the door and saluted. "Hello, young Master Lu." Lu Junhai ignored them and quickly walked into the living room. "Uncle, do you still remember the master I told you about last time I brought you here today? Lu Janai walked around the partition of the door, but his expression froze in the next second. There were already 5 people sitting in the living room. In addition to a man in a suit and leather shoes in the middle, there is also a mother and daughter, and an old man and a young man in gray robes. They're here anyway. Lu Janai frowned. Who? Jang Yan asked after Lu Janai. Just the 2 girls on the sofa. They are relatives of my aunt's side. They know how to make money from my uncle. I bought 2 stinky Taoist priests, and I want to fight for that magic weapon of space. Oh, Jang Yan nodded. He is not interested in these rich grievances. But a few more competitors is not a bad thing. In case of troubles that cannot be solved, he is not the only one who will lose face. At this time, several people on the sofa also discovered the existence of Lu Janai. Janai, are you coming to play at your uncle's house again? Hurry up and take your classmates upstairs, we have something serious to discuss with your uncle. The middle-aged beautiful woman sitting on the sofa said with a smile. I'm introducing friends to my uncle, I'm not here to play. Seeing the mother and daughter, Lu Janai curled his lips in disdain, then took Jang Yan forward and said, Uncle, this is what I told you that master, he is super powerful, and his divination is super accurate, thanks to him, I saved my life. Oh, Zhou Yuan's eyes fell on Jang Yan, the master you are looking for is so young. Some time ago, he also heard about what happened to Lu Janai. It is said that Lu Janai was lucky enough to escape the catastrophe thanks to the guidance of a master. So today when Lu Janai said that he would bring the master here, he still had some expectations. Who knew that the other party turned out to be a kid who was about the same age as Lu Janai? Needless to say, my nephew must have been cheated. Fortunately, Zhou Yuan trusted him very much, as long as he dared to make a guarantee, Jang Yan would definitely have a chance to try it. Maybe it will be done. He has great expectations for Jang Yan. Hearing this, before Zhou Yuan opened his mouth, the young woman next to the middle-aged beautiful woman suddenly said, Janai, this handsome young man looks like your classmate no matter what, don't make fun of such things, now you uncle is upset. I'm talking to uncle, why did you interrupt? We know each other very well. Lu Janai replied mercilessly. You. Feng Shuimei stared, but was stopped by the beautiful middle-aged woman beside her. She is very clear about the weight of Lu Janai in Zhou Yuan's heart. Although Zhou Yuan has taken good care of their mother and daughter these years, it is still far behind the Lu family who has taken charge of several medicine branch companies. But right now is a good opportunity. As long as they can help Zhou Yuan solve his troubles, their mother and daughter will definitely be able to soar into the sky and join the upper class of Spring City from then on. Let Lu Janai be proud for a while now. Wait and see how arrogant he is. Okay, then let him stay and try. Zhou Yuan thought for a while, and as expected, he chose to follow Lu Janai's wishes, since one more person would not have any effect anyway. Thank you uncle, Lu Janai said with a chuckle. He knew that there would definitely not be any problems if he went out on his own. Let's go, I'll take you to have a look. Zhou Yuan stood up and said. Zhou Yuan led the crowd to the deepest part of the villa, then took out the key and opened a door. Behind the door, there is a downward staircase. Everyone, be careful, below is the basement where that thing is stored. Zhou Yuan reminded, and walked down. The middle-aged beautiful woman was afraid that Jang Yan would snatch her first, so she quickly followed with 2 Taoist priests. Not to be outdone, Lu Janai dragged Jang Yan to follow closely. As soon as they entered the basement, everyone suddenly felt a cold breath. In the air, there is still a faint fishy sweet smell. Feng Shui immediately leaned into the arms of the middle-aged beautiful woman, looking around with fear in her eyes. Although she already knew that there was something wrong with this villa, this feeling was too scary. It turned out that Zhou Yuan really didn't exaggerate. The moment you walk into the basement, it's like going from the world to hell. Zhou Yuan turned on the wall lamps in the basement, the lights flickered a few times, and finally only 2 lights came on, and the light was extremely weak, as if they were about to go out at any moment. Since there was a problem at home, the basement has become colder and damper day by day. Many wirings have been broken. I asked someone to repair it. You all know the result. Zhou Yuan sighed helplessly. Lu Janai also heard this matter from his parents, and immediately explained to Jang Yan in a low voice. The electricians who came to repair the lines all died, and the death conditions were extremely miserable. Since then, accidents have always occurred in my uncle's house. Someone will die every few days, and it's all related to the basement. Oh, that's how it is. Jang Yan nodded. After all, he is not a professional. What Lu Junhai said, he can only listen to it as a horror story, and can't analyze anything. On the other hand, the two Taoist priests brought by Feng Shui and the others took out the compass and looked around in the basement as early as they entered the basement, which seemed to be the case. Well, actually, we have to go further inside. Zhou Yuan could not help but reminded by coughing twice when he saw that the two Taoist priests were about to lie down on the ground. It's okay, we just investigate the surrounding environment. The old Taoist calmly got up from the ground, patted the dust on the Taoist robe and said. The young Taoist also imitated the movements of the old Taoist. Seeing this, Feng Shui pulled the middle-aged beautiful woman and asked softly, Mom, are the two people you are looking for reliable? Don't worry, they are all capable and careful in doing things. They will definitely help Uncle Joe solve his troubles. The middle-aged beautiful woman patted Feng Shui's hand and comforted her. The corridor in the basement is extremely long. Jang Yan made a rough estimate, at least 100 or 200 meters. To the back, the hallway was completely darkened. Everyone can only take out their mobile phones and turn on the flashlight to see the way. At the same time, the cold feeling became more and more obvious. Jang Yan felt goosebumps on his arms. If I knew it, he should have brought a coat. Lu Junhai was not much better either, he even blew his nose a few times. Jang Yan took a few steps away silently, not wanting to get too close to Lu Junhai who was full of snot in his hands. It is easy to be accidentally injured. Suddenly, Zhou Yuan stopped in his tracks unexpectedly. Arrive. It was only then that the crowd came to their senses. At some point in front of them, a dark double door appeared. It blends perfectly into the darkness. If you don't get close, it's hard to find the existence of this door. Zhou Yuan pushed lightly with his hands, and the door seemed to sense someone coming, and it automatically opened to both sides. At this time, everyone saw what was behind the door. A flower pot, a lotus. The lotus is black, and the dim light shines out, making it extremely conspicuous in the dark. The flower pot is not filled with soil, but a red liquid. A faint sweet smell permeates the air, making it hard not to wonder what is inside. Everyone, do you know what this is? Zhou Yuan looked back at Jang Yan and the two Taoist priests. I know, this must be an evil thing. The old Taoist pointed his wooden sword at the flower pot behind the door, and said convincingly, and it is an evil thing cultivated with blood. Sucking blood, that's why there are frequent accidents at Mr. Zhou's house. Hearing this, Lu Junhai couldn't help rolling his eyes. Things that anyone with a discerning eye can see, do you need him to say it again? After hearing this, Feng Shui's mother and daughter were quite frightened, and their legs couldn't help shaking. Zhou Yuan didn't make a statement, but looked at Jang Yan. Little brother, what do you think? Wait, Jang Yan used his backpack as a cover, and took out the divination crystal ball. He didn't see that the Taoist priests had all the tools prepared, so he must put on a show. Holding the crystal ball in his hands, Jang Yan walked into the room with a swagger. Seeing that Jang Yan entered the room without any preparation, the old Taoist couldn't help but a hint of ridicule flashed in his eyes. In their line of work, knowledge and experience are very important. He didn't believe that a brat with no hair on his head could see anything. After all, even he had never seen such a strange plant. Not to mention Jang Yan. But no one made a sound to stop it. They also want to see what will happen when they get close to that black lotus. After Jang Yan walked into the room, he obviously felt that the temperature had dropped a bit. There is also a faint sense of oppression, and even breathing becomes heavy. And the root of all this is the black lotus in the room. It seems that it has just bloomed and the petals have not fully unfolded. The light of the flashlight shone on the black lotus, and even faint black air could be seen emanating from the stamens. Jang Yan didn't approach rashly, but just walked around Heilian, and then returned to Lu Junhai's side. Lu Junhai gave Jang Yan a thumbs up. Just standing at the door, he could feel the oppression from this black lotus, even the old Taoist priests dare not approach it easily. Jang Yan, on the other hand, wandered in carelessly. This is not much more handsome than the old Taoist priest dancing around with a broken sword. HMPH. The old Taoist snorted coldly. Young people are reckless. If you provoke this evil thing because of you, I'm afraid it will disturb Mr. Zhou. That's right. The middle-aged beautiful woman also echoed. If you don't understand, don't run around casually. The masters we invited only dare to observe at the door. This is responsible for everyone's lives. You have to learn a little bit, young man. Quote. Holding the divination crystal ball in his hand, Jang Yan asked with a half-smile. Then the master stood at the door. Did he see anything? Didn't I just say that this is a kind of evil, and it must be eliminated with a special method? The old Taoist stroked the beard of his chin with an enigmatic face. Master, it seems that you already have a way to deal with it. Feng Shui said happily. You can give it a try, said the old Taoist priest. Wait, we haven't spoken yet. Why did you start the next step? Lu Janai saw Feng Shui's mother and daughter's intentions, and hurriedly stopped her. Now in this situation, it is obvious that whoever strikes first will have the upper hand. If the old Taoist really succeeded, then his trip today was not in vain. Just as Feng Shui wanted to refute Lu Janai, Zhou Yuan suddenly said, let this little brother talk about his opinion first. Did you hear that? Lu Janai looked at Feng Shui's mother and daughter provocatively. Should be. The middle-aged beautiful woman also realized that they were too anxious, and immediately smiled on her face. Jang Yan, who watched the play for a long time, finally had a chance to speak. This black lotus should have been planted by Mr. Zhou, right? Jang Yan looked at Zhou Yuan and said. Not bad. Zhou Yuan nodded. The old Taoist sneered in his heart. This is not an obvious thing. The thing is in the basement of my own house. It was not planted by the owner, so it still came out of nowhere. Did the person who asked Mr. Zhou to plant the black lotus tell you that this thing only needs to be fed with blood every day, and it can absorb the dirty air in your body and keep the house safe? Jang Yan continued. That's right. Zhou Yuan's eyes lit up. He recently invited so many quacks, Taoists, and mages, and Jang Yan was the first one to get on the right track. Seeing Zhou Yuan's reaction, both Feng Shui and her daughter secretly thought something was wrong. The old Taoist's face also changed slightly. Could it be that this kid was really fooled? Zhou Yuan briefly talked about the origin of this black lotus. 15 years ago, when my career was developing the most smoothly, I annexed several companies in the same industry, and also developed several methods of planting rare medicinal materials and successfully won several awards. But during that time, I suddenly became muddled, and I always had some bloody nightmares at night, as if I had been struck by evil. I went to many hospitals for examinations, but they couldn't find out the cause, but my condition became more and more serious. There was really no other way. I had to spend a lot of money to hire a highly respected master. He saw my condition at the first sight. Cursed. This is an extremely vicious method. The cursed person will automatically absorb all kinds of resentment generated around him. After a long time, I have only 2 results, suicide or going crazy. Then the master gave me a seed. He told me to water it with a drop of blood every day. Over the years, the resentment in my body was transferred to this plant, and the curse disappeared. The master also told me that this plant has the function of keeping the house safe, and it should be kept in your own home. Who knew it would become like this now? Zhou Yuan sighed, his face full of distress and helplessness. Uncle, you must have been screwed by the opposite company. After hearing Zhou Yuan's experience, Lu Janai slapped his thigh excitedly. These methods of business competition are becoming more and more despicable. The middle-aged beautiful woman also said hastily. Uncle Zhou, I think you are in good health now. The curse may have disappeared a long time ago. The key now is to find a way to get rid of this black lotus. Feng Shui spoke to the old Taoist priest. Wink. The old Taoist stepped forward knowingly and said, Mr. Zhou, leave this evil thing to me to deal with. It has absorbed too much resentment and has been completely demonized. If you stay at Mr. S house for a day, it will be more dangerous. Here, there is Master Lao. Zhou Yuan hesitated for a while, but did not stop. Lu Janai became anxious immediately. Jang Yan stood on the sidelines, acting like he had nothing to do with him. To be honest, he doesn't want to care about this shit right now. Because Zhou Yuan was lying. And out of the 10 sentences, most of the 9 sentences are false. This guy is far from being as human as he looks on the surface. The first time he saw this black lotus, he recognized its identity. Black blood, a carrier of curses. Need human blood to feed. And it must have experienced great pain, even death. Such blood is effective. Until the black blood blooms, the curse is considered to be formed. Jang Yan didn't know if Zhou Yuan was deceived by someone, so he planted this black lotus in his home. But judging from his performance, he was probably deceived by someone. Otherwise, they wouldn't be looking for people everywhere, trying to get rid of this black lotus. But now this black lotus has bloomed. That means that the people who died in Zhou Yuan's hands must not be a small number. These people must all have died tragically and in vain. And it lasted 15 years. If you think about it, you will know how many innocent souls are buried in this dark basement. In this world, there are various open and secret battles every day, and many people die every day. But it doesn't mean that human life is worthless. No matter what Zhou Yuan's original intention was, he used extremely cruel means to commit murder for 15 years in a row. There is even a high probability that they are ordinary people who have no enmity with him. This alone, he has no way to clean up. Jang Yan didn't think there was anything wrong with killing someone. But Zhou Yuan like this, he felt very bad. The old Taoist priest had already led the young Taoist priest carefully into the room where He Lian was. When they were within 5 meters of He Lian, they felt a severe sense of suffocation. The old Taoist hurriedly took out a bell, held it above his head and shook it quickly. The little Taoist priest couldn't hold on at first, but when the old Taoist's bell came out, his expression soon eased a lot. "Mom, the master you invited really has some skills." Seeing this scene, Feng Shui said in a good mood. "When did I make mistakes in my work?" The middle-aged beautiful woman smiled complacently. Zhou Yuan also nodded in satisfaction. At last, it wasn't those idiots who peed their pants the moment they entered the room. The reason why he was willing to listen to Jang Yan's opinion alone was because Jang Yan could still look normal after entering this room. On the contrary, it was these 2 Taoist priests, he thought he had encountered charlatans again. But judging from the performance just now, it seems that there are still 2 brushes. A few minutes later, the 2 Taoist priests finally walked a short distance of a few meters and came to the flower pot where the black lotus was planted. He Lian seemed to sense that someone was approaching, and the branches swayed slightly, as if they were alive. At the same time, the red liquid in the flower pot also started to bubble. The old Taoist is well informed and can still hold on. But the little Taoist took a step back in fright. "Don't panic." The old Taoist gave the young Taoist a displeased look, and then took half a step forward cautiously. Only then did the old Taoist realize that what seemed to be in the flower pot was not blood, but a red liquid secreted from the rhizome of the black lotus. It smells fishy and sweet, and if you don't observe carefully, it is easy to confuse it with blood. "Master, should we still use the thunder fire talisman?" The young Taoist swallowed nervously, looked up and asked the old Taoist. "As long as it is an evil thing, there is no one who is not afraid of thunder and fire." The old Taoist straightened up, reached into his satchel with his fingers, and took out a piece of bright yellow talisman paper. He didn't want to find out what this plant was. Since it was a collection of grievances, of course he should use conventional methods to resolve it. The little Taoist also took out a low-level thunder fire talisman. "Do it." As the old Taoist's words fell, the thunder and fire talisman in their hands turned into a line of fire and attacked He Lian, so fast that only an afterimage of the fire could be seen with the naked eye. Only 2 loud bangs were heard, and the thunder fire talisman exploded above the black lotus. The light intertwined with thunder and fire instantly enveloped the entire black lotus. The room was also reflected like daylight. "Success!" Feng Shui clapped her hands excitedly and shouted. "It's done so easily." Lu Janai was full of displeasure. Zhou Yuan also seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. Only Jang Yan frowned slightly, he was already considering whether to run away. Although it is not difficult for him to save his life. But exposing one's whole cards in this kind of place is too uneconomical. The smoke gradually dissipated in the room. In the next second, Feng Shui's mother and daughter couldn't laugh anymore. They found that the black lotus in the center of the room was not only intact. Inside the shattered flower pot, there was actually a heart-like meat ball. While it was plopping, tentacles grew out of the fleshy mass. Sensing the danger, the old Taoist immediately shouted, "Run!" However, before he and the little Taoist could move, all those tentacles shot out, shooting them into a sieve. Blood splashed out, instantly staining the ground red. "What?" Feng Shui's mother and daughter screamed in horror, and ran back in a panic. Lu Janai was also so frightened that his legs trembled. Only Zhou Yuan seemed not surprised by this scene. He is not afraid of these tentacles, because they only hurt others. Originally, such a weapon was not a bad thing to keep around. But recently, this Black Lotus has become more and more out of his control. It's okay to attack indiscriminately, and even when he is not around, he will go out and hurt people by himself. He roughly estimated that the tentacles at the root of the Black Lotus could easily cover the entire villa. It is no exaggeration to say that people die every day in his family. Forget it, he never minded the life and death of others. But as the richest man in Spring City, countless pairs of eyes are staring at him. In just a few days, this incident was spread by the media and became known to passers-by. He can only claim to the outside world that something went wrong at home. Then began to invite a large number of quack wizards and masters to come to the house to exorcise evil spirits. Who knew, this thing could not be killed? Only then did Zhou Yuan realize the seriousness of the problem. I also understand what it means to invite God as easy and send God away as difficult. After the tentacles killed the two Taoist priests, they quickly realized that there were still people alive at the door, and immediately swam slowly along the ground like a poisonous snake. "Little brother, is there anything you can do?" Zhou Yuan looked at Jang Yan. His expectations for Jang Yan were far greater than those two Taoist priests. Seeing that Jang Yan didn't run away now, I am more sure of my guess. Jang Yan thought about the magic weapon of space, and then glanced at the tentacles on the ground. He was evaluating whether these things were worth using the vampire vine. Space magic weapon, he is very excited. But he didn't want to expose his cards. What's more, Zhou Yuan hid so deeply, it's really hard to say whether there will be a magic weapon of space at that time. Forget it, let's run away. Just as he was about to remind him, he suddenly noticed that the tentacles closest to him not only did not move forward, but retreated a certain distance. Jang Yan froze for a moment, his eyes fell on the crystal ball in his hand, and his eyes gradually brightened up. Yes, why didn't he think of it? When it comes to dark spells, who can compare to the sea monster of doom? This thing is the ancestor of the dark magic world. Although the thing in his hand is not the body, but the breath of the doomed sea monster alone can make these little shrimps and fishes stay away. Thinking of this, Jang Yan lifted the crystal ball in his hand forward. Sure enough, as soon as the divination crystal ball approached, these tentacles shrank back as if they had seen a ghost. Seeing this scene, Lu Janai and Zhou Yuan's eyes widened. Especially Zhou Yuan, he knows how difficult these tentacles are. But they seem afraid of Jang Yan. After verifying the guess in his heart, Jang Yan no longer had any worries, and walked into the room directly holding the crystal ball. Those tentacles backed away frantically. In the end, they all retracted into the meat ball at the root of the Black Lotus. Even He Lian, who had been swaying her body all the time, became honest in an instant. Jang Yan stepped forward step by step. When he lifted the divination crystal ball above the Black Lotus, it was completely silent. Lu Janai, who was standing at the door, suddenly rubbed his arms. Hey, it doesn't seem very cold anymore. Zhou Yuan narrowed his eyes slightly, and a cold light flashed inside. What is the background of this young man? He imagined many possibilities, whether it was to kill him violently, or to trap him with an instrument. But I never thought that someone could calm He Lian simply by approaching her. This is clearly something he has always wanted to do, but failed to do. If He Lian could be completely controlled by him, why would he give up such an easy-to-use weapon? The lethality is powerful, and it was cultivated by him. But now in front of an outsider, honestly like a quail. This somewhat made him feel a little uncomfortable. After repeated testing, Jang Yan determined that the crystal ball of the misfortune siren did suppress Hylian, so he moved the crystal ball a little closer. Just when the crystal ball was about to touch the Black Lotus, the blooming petals of the Black Lotus suddenly closed quickly. Then, with a swoosh, the whole thing got back into the meatball. Jang Yan, how afraid of him is this? No, it should be said to be afraid of the sea monster of bad luck. They were all scared back into the womb. It's not that easy to grow it back. Master, you are so awesome, this monster dare not come out. Lu Janai was shocked. How terrifying this evil thing is, everyone has seen it just now. Under the attack of the meatball tentacles, the two Taoist priests had no ability to resist at all. But now the situation is completely reversed. When He Lian saw Jang Yan approaching, it was like a mouse seeing a cat, and could only retract into the meatball. The contrast between before and after is simply unbelievable. Jang Yan observed the meatball for a while, then took out a low-level thunder fire talisman from the old Taoist's bag and threw it on the meatball. But even though the meatball was blasted and bruised, the Black Lotus did not grow again, and the tentacles did not attack. A curse carrier that has absorbed resentment for 15 years, it is obviously impossible to kill it with only a few low-level thunder and fire talismans. But under such an attack, it didn't even move to resist, indicating that it was already in a closed state. There is no longer any response to external stimuli. And this state will continue for a while. That said, this is the best time to deal with it. But let Zhou Yuan handle the finishing work by himself. If you want to completely kill the 15-year-old black blood, you must have the strength of the 4th or 5th rank. Even if he wanted to do it, he didn't have the ability. Mr. Zhou, this thing should not be dangerous for the time being. How to deal with it is up to you to decide. Jang Yan looked up at Zhou Yuandao. Of course we want to kill it completely. Zhou Yuan said without hesitation. There is no need for him to keep a weapon that cannot be controlled, or even surrendered to outsiders. That's very simple. Mr. Zhou only needs to invite a few warriors of the 4th and 5th ranks to wipe it out violently. It should not resist in a short time, so the speed must be fast. Jang Yan explained the method. As to whether Zhou Yuan would follow what he said, it was not something he should care about. Now, his thoughts are all on that magic weapon of space. Okay, I'll make arrangements later. Zhou Yuan nodded. Then now, shouldn't we talk about the reward? Jang Yan said with a smile. Zhou Yuan was taken aback for a moment, then smiled and said, "Little brother helped me solve the trouble, and I will naturally give the agreed reward with both hands." After finishing speaking, Zhou Yuan looked at Lu Janai and said, "Take this little brother to rest for a while, and after I finish handling this place, I'll go find you guys." Jang Yan and Lu Janai left the basement and returned to the living room. Before they got close, they saw Feng Shui's mother and son at the gate, pulling Zhou Yuan's assistant and making a lot of noise. "Did you understand what I said? Mr. Zhou is in danger, and you won't let me call the police, so you should hurry up and find someone to check," the middle-aged beautiful woman said anxiously. "Don't worry about this matter, ma'am, Zhou will take care of it." The assistant stood upright at the door and said expressionlessly, "Are you sure you're not joking? Let me say it again, 2 people have already died down here. Mr. Zhou is an ordinary person. If such a monster appears in the basement, you tell me that Mr. Zhou will take care of it." The middle-aged beautiful woman stared. "Road. You don't care about Uncle Zhou's life like this. What kind of heart do you have? I warn you, if Uncle Zhou can come out alive, I will definitely tell him about it, and you just wait to be expelled. So you'd better immediately do as we say, either call the police, or go to the basement to save people." Feng Shui also looked at the assistant angrily. If anything happened to Zhou Yuan, their mother and daughter would be completely finished. Without the backing of Zhou Yuan, what would they use to enjoy the glory and wealth, and what would they use to continue living the luxurious life before? "It's all said, Mr. Zhou will be fine, you go back to the living room and stay." The assistant didn't want to talk to Feng Shui's mother and daughter anymore. He has followed Zhou Yuan for 7 or 8 years, and he has dealt with such things a lot. He probably knows what's in the basement. Whoever has an accident, Zhou Yuan will not have an accident. But it was the first time he saw Feng Shui's mother and daughter being so ignorant and messing around. They don't even know the basics of observing words and expressions, so they really don't know what they rely on to stay by Zhou Yuan's side. "Okay, you're ruthless, just wait and see." Feng Shui didn't listen to what the assistant said when she saw that the assistant didn't get in, so she could only put down the ruthless words, and then took the arm of the middle-aged beautiful woman. Mom, we go back. You two, please hand over your phone. The assistant said immediately, still worried that Feng Shui's mother and daughter would call the police if they couldn't figure it out. Feng Shui was about to get mad when she heard footsteps behind her. Don't worry, Uncle is fine. Everything below has been taken care of. Don't keep yelling to call the police. This is a matter of Uncle's house. Don't mess around here. Lu Janai put one hand in his trouser pocket, and Jang Yan they walked out of the living room together. Seeing Jang Yan, Feng Shui's mother and daughter couldn't believe it. Did you come out alive? What about Mr. Zhou? The middle-aged beautiful woman came back to her senses and asked hastily. Uncle still has some things to deal with, so you can go back with peace of mind. You have nothing to do here. Lu Janai waved his hand impatiently. Why do you speak in the same tone as this assistant? Feng Shui frowned and looked at Lu Janai, and since you all came out, why didn't Uncle Zhou come out? She very much suspected that these people had colluded with each other in advance, in order to make this situation so that Zhou Yuan's death would be unknown, so as to annex Zhou Yuan's family property. I find it difficult for women to communicate sometimes. Seeing Feng Shui's reaction, Lu Janai sighed helplessly, then looked sideways at Jang Yan and said, that's why I don't want to find a girlfriend. Many women there is really a hole in the brain. Jang Yan nodded half understanding. No wonder Lu Janai, as a son of a wealthy family, likes to go out and spend money to find women. It turns out that this is the root cause. Lu Janai, did you listen to me? Seeing that Lu Janai ignored her at all, Feng Shui became furious. Pretend I didn't say what you said just now. Lu Janai turned his eyes to the assistant and said, you find someone to take these two women to the side hall. Before Uncle comes out, don't let them run around. After finishing speaking, Lu Janai added another sentence. By the way, remember to put the phone away. Hearing this, Feng Shui's pupils shrank suddenly. Lu Janai, you are all talking about the same group. Oh, where did the crazy woman come from? Take it away quickly. Lu Janai lost his patience completely. Now that he said a word to the mother and daughter, he felt the urge to hit someone. I believe my uncle will understand him. The assistant breathed a sigh of relief. With Lu Janai speaking, he felt relieved. Come here, take them all down. The assistant ordered immediately. After Feng Shui's mother and daughter were taken away, the surroundings finally became clear. These two crazy women, if they stay with Uncle, they will cause trouble sooner or later. Lu Janai returned to the living room, took a pear from the fruit basket, and said while eating. Student Lu, I want to ask, the space magic weapon you mentioned earlier is true, right? Jang Yan confirmed it again worriedly. After all, he had heard Lu Janai mention this matter from the beginning to the end. It was hard to say whether Zhou Yuan's remuneration and Lu Janhai's remuneration were the same thing. Before coming, he didn't worry about anything. But after seeing the situation of this family, he always felt that the magic weapon of space was not so easy to obtain. It is said that there is no business without fraud. What's more, Zhou Yuan started from scratch and climbed all the way to the richest man. He has no sense of trust in this person. Is there any truth to what I said? Uncle also met too many charlatans, and there was nothing he could do about it, so he made this condition. Doesn't this attract you, a real master? Lu Janai laughed. Jang Yan is the person he found. This time he also made a great contribution. That's good. Jang Yan nodded. After a few hours, the sky gradually darkened, and Zhou Yuan came out from the basement. Little brother, I kept you waiting. Zhou Yuan pushed his eyes on the bridge of his nose, and sat down on the ground with Jang Yan and Lu Janai. Uncle, are you done with the thing below? Lu Janai asked in a low voice. It has been dealt with according to what this little brother said. Zhou Yuan smiled gratifiedly. That's great. Lu Janai immediately beamed with joy. By the way, I have to explain the reward promised to the little brother in advance. Zhou Yuan suddenly said seriously. Jang Yan raised his eyebrows. It was exactly what he thought. Zhou Yuan has been in business for decades and has seen a lot of knowledge, so how could he not know the preciousness of the magic weapon of space? Even so, he still took out the magic weapon of space as a reward. There's obviously a hole in there. However, Jang Yan's mentality is not bad. After all, He was mentally prepared, so he raised his hand and said, "Mr. Zhou, please speak. I got this magic weapon of space by accident a few years ago. When I got it, the magic weapon was damaged. There was originally a space of 10 square meters inside, but now there is only less than half a square meter left." Zhou Yuan paused and continued said, "Of course, if you mind, I can exchange the reward for something else, which will definitely satisfy you." Only half a square meter left. Jang Yan was speechless. With such a small area, it is impossible to even hide a person, let alone a huge monster, so it can only be decorated with ordinary small animals. No wonder Zhou Yuan was so willing. People are not stupid. But if something breaks, it's not impossible to fix it. He has a universal synthesis table. As long as he finds the right materials, it shouldn't be difficult to repair the magic weapon of space. As long as the magic weapon of space is real, then I still want the magic weapon of space. After all, this is what was agreed at the beginning, and I can't take advantage of Mr. Zhou. Jang Yan said very modestly. Quote. Zhou Yuan was speechless for a moment. According to what Jang Yan meant, was it because of his generosity that he reluctantly accepted the reward? Although this magic weapon of space is broken, its value is there, and some people are willing to pay a high price to buy it. If he didn't want to attract some truly capable people, he wouldn't be willing to take it out as a reward. Jang Yan said that he seemed to be at a disadvantage. No matter how hard you hear this. Unfortunately, he was not good at refuting. After all, when he set the reward, he didn't clarify the specific situation of the magic weapon of space. Forget it, what does he care about with children? Zhou Yuan flipped his hands and took out a leaf-shaped jade carving from the storage ring and put it on the table. "This is the magic weapon of space, little brother can check it." Jang Yan's heart moved, and he reached out to pick up the jade carving. Unexpectedly, the space in this magic weapon is actually a good spirit jade as a carrier. Just looking at the quality of this piece of lingyu, it is also worth a lot. Jang Yan covered this piece of spiritual jade with spiritual power, and a dilapidated place suddenly appeared in his mind. It looks like a collapsed wooden house, with only a small space in the corner, which can barely accommodate things. The internal condition of this magic weapon of space is exactly as Zhou Yuan said, only about half a square meter of space is still intact. If you look closely, it's not even half a square meter. Can he ask Zhou Yuan to make up for the missing part? But Jang Yan just thought about it in his heart. The magic weapon of space is not fake, so it is not a loss for him to take this trip. "I've taken it." Jang Yan used his backpack as a cover to put the magic weapon of space into his inventory. Once it is in his pocket, there is absolutely no reason to take it out again. Now it is too late for Zhou Yuan to repent. "Little brother, it's getting late, do you want to stay for dinner?" Zhou Yuan said very politely. But Jang Yan heard the other party's intention to chase away, so he stood up and said, "No need, I have other things to do, so I'll take my leave first." Leaving Zhou Yuan's villa, Jang Yan felt that the air outside was much fresher. Thinking of the fact that so many people died in that villa, Zhou Yuan could still live there, he was considered a ruthless person. Jang Yan took out his mobile phone and looked at the map. Is there a mistake? It takes more than half an hour to go out. Evil rich people, why is the community so big? Just when he wanted to ask the security guard if a taxi could come in, a beautiful figure suddenly blocked his way. "Little handsome guy, please make an offer. I'll buy the magic weapon of space in your hand," Feng Shui said with her chin raised slightly. Jang Yan felt that he must have missed the almanac when he went out, that's why he was entangled by this wicked woman. He just wanted to leave this place quickly now, and he didn't intend to talk nonsense with Feng Shui, so he directly refused. "I won't sell it, I'm in a hurry, please let me go." "Don't let." Feng Shui took a step forward, almost touching Jang Yan. "What do you mean?" Jang Yan looked at Feng Shui's obvious hints and asked in a leisurely manner. "Little handsome guy, why don't you just sell me the magic weapon of space? Uncle Joe should have told you that this magic weapon of space has been damaged to the point where it can't be used normally. You can not only get a lot of money but also my contact information." Feng Shui winked at Jang Yan and said softly, "If you think it's not enough." Feng Shui pressed her fingers against Jang Yan's chest, and said in a tone full of temptation, "I can also give you a chance to ask me out." Feng Shui leaned close to Jang Yan's ear and added, "It's fine tonight." Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. Jang Yan had question marks all over his head. Is he being seduced? In all fairness, Feng Shui looks pretty good. Probably specially cultivated, she has a ladylike temperament on her body, and she is also very well dressed. But this temperament is completely superficial. Among the few women he has come into contact with after time travel, probably only Zhao Siran can compete with her. Although it is not a bad thing to have beautiful women throwing themselves into their arms. But he was really not interested in Feng Shui. Most importantly, he felt that Feng Shui was just looking for him to buy a magic weapon of space, and at the same time wanted to sleep with him. Who made him so handsome and strong? This is probably the trouble of being too good. How about it, little handsome guy? My sister has already made such concessions. You can sell me the magic weapon of space, and I will make you comfortable tonight. Feng Shui hinted all kinds of ways, and her entire upper body was stuck to Jang Yan's body. Not for sale. Jang Yan still gave Feng Shui those 2 words. You were really naughty. Feng Shui took Jang Yan's hand and put it on her chest. My sister begged you like this, do you really stop thinking about it? In fact, she has already found a buyer for the space magic weapon. People immediately recognize the main material of the magic weapon of space as a piece of high-quality spiritual jade. Even if it was placed in an auction house in a first-tier big city, there would be a lot of people rushing to buy it. What's more, this is a magic weapon of space, and there is a small part of the space that can still be used. Such a piece of high-quality spiritual jade. Whether it is collection value or practical value, it is extremely high. But Jang Yan didn't necessarily know this. So Feng Shui felt that she had a great chance. As soon as I got the news, I immediately came to intercept Jang Yan. I really don't sell it. Jang Yan sighed helplessly. If you insist on asking me why, then I told you, don't be angry. Tell me, I promise I won't be angry. Feng Shui raised the corners of her mouth. The handsome guy knew how to take her emotions into consideration, so she knew that no man could escape her gentle offensive. Because, actually, I like big breasts. After finishing speaking, Jang Yan squeezed the little steamed bun under his hand, and when Feng Shui didn't react, he pulled his hand back with lightning speed. Feng Shui's expression froze instantly. Did she hear correctly? She was rejected. Although she is indeed not that big, but at least she has an A+ close to AB, okay. So I'm sorry, you'd better find someone else, we're not suitable. Jang Yan said with regret, and then walked towards the exit of the community without looking back, leaving Feng Shui alone in the wind. Inappropriate, they are not suitable. Isn't this the excuse she often used when dumping people? Now it was replaced by the party she was disgusted with. It turns out that this feeling is so uncomfortable. And many more. Feng Shui suddenly came to her senses. She didn't come to find Jang Yan to buy a magic weapon of space. What the hell is inappropriate? Almost got caught by Jang Yan. But when she wanted to catch up, there was no half shadow of Jang Yan. Jang Yan's current physique is not what it used to be. Running at full speed and reaching the speed of the car is not a problem at all. It just doesn't last very long. After running out of the villa area, Jang Yan couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief seeing that Feng Shui didn't catch up. He was not afraid of this woman. It's just that Feng Shui is really too obsessive, and he is afraid that if he doesn't leave, he will eventually lose control. After all, he is a normal man. A beautiful woman threw herself into his arms. Even if you don't move your mind, your body is hard to control. He didn't want to leave anything in that woman's hands. Jang Yan called a taxi and went back to the hotel where he was staying. After washing off the smell of perfume and the smell of blood from the basement, he lay down on the bed relaxed. See if there are any materials you can remedy the space magic weapon. Jang Yan took out his mobile phone and opened the official website of Lingwu Hall. Being in the inner city, you can enjoy a lot of convenience. For example, Lingwutang can deliver goods directly to your door. As long as the official website shows that there are still goods in stock, after the order is placed, it will be delivered within the last 2 hours. Jang Yan tried it once before, and the experience was excellent. The order placed half an hour ago was delivered to the hotel half an hour later. It's the gospel for lazy people like him. Jang Yan searched for space keywords on the official website of Lingwutang, and immediately hundreds of pieces of information appeared in the result column. There are crystal mines of various space systems, monster bones, and special plants on it. The price is not cheap, and the quantity is not much. Especially the crystal ore of the space system. All types added up, the number does not exceed 100. The nanocrystal used to make the storage ring is an extremely precious space gem. Although other space system crystal ores cannot be directly used to make storage equipment, many of them can be used as maintenance materials or auxiliary materials for storage equipment. Jang Yan only has more than 1 million yuan left in his hand, so he must be reluctant to buy such expensive materials for experimentation. Therefore, his target was placed on the bones of space-type monsters. Space monsters are also very rare, except for a monster named Snow Light Worm. Snow light worms usually live in groups. When they gather together, they will form a special magnetic field around them. When the number is large enough, it will even form a separate space domain. So as long as one snow light worm is found, it means that thousands of snow light worms have been discovered. Jang Yan glanced at the price of dried snow worms. 100,000. Still acceptable. Then buy one and try it out. Thinking of this, Jang Yan immediately picked up his mobile phone to place an order. Just after paying, the phone rang suddenly. The caller is displayed on the screen. Zhang Yingshe. Seeing the caller ID, Jang Yan gasped. Old lady's phone. Jang Yan felt a little flustered and guilty. He had a good impression of Zhang Yingshe. But the relationship between the original owner and Zhang Yingshe is actually not that close. Zhang Yingshe has been very strict with the original owner since she was a child, so the original owner is mostly in awe of Zhang Yingshe. The emotions that appeared in Jang Yan's heart just now were left over from the memory of the original owner. After thinking about it, he still pressed the answer button. Sister. Jang Yan cleared his throat and shouted. Xiaoyan, I have been training in the field before. I only found out that something happened in Chuncheong when I returned to school today. Are you okay? A concerned voice came from the phone. I'm fine, I can eat and sleep. Jang Yan laughed. I'm relieved to hear that you're fine. Zhang Yingshe breathed a sigh of relief. You guys are going to take the college entrance examination in 3 days, but I heard that the disaster near 9th Middle School has been severely affected. Does the school have any arrangements? The school arranged for us to take the exam in the inner city, and I just went to familiarize myself with the exam room today. Zhang Yan said. Examination in the inner city. Zhang Yingshe was taken aback for a moment, and then her tone was a little worried. The fee in the inner city must be very expensive. I remember paying 10,000 in taxes every day. She used all her savings to buy Lingju and elixir for Zhang Yan, and now there is not much left. It can be imagined that Zhang Yan is about to face the college entrance examination, so she has to collect the expenses for Zhang Yan no matter what. Do you want to borrow money from your classmates again? She finally paid off her debts. Sister, you don't need to worry about it. The country has preferential policies. During the college entrance examination, all extra fees are exempted. Even if you live in the inner city, it doesn't cost much. Zhang Yan said quickly. Really? The stone in Zhang Yingshui's heart fell back again. Then I'll transfer 5,000 to you, and you can use it first. At such critical times, money can't be saved. Just as Zhang Yan wanted Zhang Yingshe to stop transferring money to him, he suddenly heard another woman's voice from the other side of the phone. Yingshe, you can't even afford to eat, and you still transfer money to your brother. He is a high school student. How much you can use, don't drag yourself down. Keep your voice down. Zhang Yingshe took the phone away and said in a low voice, my brother is going to take an exam soon, so he must not be bothered by these trivial matters. It's only 5,000 yuan, and I can go to the martial arts gym as a training partner for a few days. Are you still going to that martial arts gym? Last time you were beaten to a broken bone. Those rich people don't regard sparring as a human being. Forget it, I'll tell you later. Zhang Yingshe pushed the people around her away and picked up her phone again. Xiaoyan, my sister hasn't had a holiday yet, so I can't come back to see you. Don't be nervous during the exam, do not know. After Zhang Yingshe finished speaking, she found that the other side was unusually quiet. Xiaoyan, Zhang Yingshe called out again. Sister, you don't need to give me any money. Zhang Yan said in a deep voice. In fact, he heard what Zhang Yingshe said just now. Thinking of him using those spirit beads and pills with peace of mind, and now even living in a 1,000 yuan a day hotel, Zhang Yingshe went to the martial arts gym as a training partner and was beaten every day. Zhang Yan felt very uncomfortable. If he had known that Zhang Yingshe made money like this, he would never have accepted those things. With the universal synthesis platform, it is easy for him to make money. But for Zhang Yingshe, every penny is her hard-earned money. Zhang Yan has only one thought now. That is, we must treat Zhang Yingshe well in the future, and we will never let her live a hard life again. Just because of her broken bone, she still wants to give him the kindness of the elixir. Xiaoyan, you really don't have to worry about the money issue. After all, my sister is a warrior. Some injuries are inevitable. You can take a look at those college students' field training. When can you come back unscathed? When you go to university, you will find that this is all normal. Zhang Yingshe knew that Zhang Yan probably heard the conversation between her and her old friend just now, so she immediately explained. Is this the same as going to the martial arts gym as a sparring partner? Zhang Yan asked back, forget it, don't go to the martial arts gym anymore, and remember to check your bank account later. Bank account. Zhang Yingshe was confused, and just about to ask what Zhang Yan meant when she received a text message from the bank. Zhang Yingshe cut out to take a look, and then her pupils shrank suddenly. I saw that there was an extra 500,000 in her account. And the remitter is Zhang Yan. Xiaoyan, where did you get so much money? Zhang Yingshe hurriedly picked up her phone and asked. Sister, you really don't have to worry about money. I got some good results in the last school field test. In addition, I got a ranking in the test. The rewards alone are worth several million. During this time, I spent some buying pills, but there are still a lot left, so you can spend these first. Zhang Yan said. How many millions are the test rewards worth? Zhang Yingshe felt like she was in a daze. 9th high school is just an ordinary high school in the outer city, how could it be possible to hand out several million rewards? This is the result of 5 people split equally. Because of this test, for the first time, the school gave out places in secret realms as rewards, and just one place is worth 7 or 8 million. Zhang Yan said earnestly. So sister, your brother, I am really rich, and I don't worry about money. Wah, you must not go to the martial arts gym to work. If you have that time, you might as well practice more and improve your strength. Quote. Zhang Yingshe was speechless, and after a while she finally said, you're right, I should focus on improving my strength, but I can't accept the money you give me. Usually I go to field training, as well as extra income, which is enough for my daily use. Why are you so polite to me? Do you treat me as a younger brother? When you send me money and pills, I didn't see any rejection. Zhang Yan said angrily. Then, that's fine. Zhang Yingshe agreed hesitantly. After the college entrance examination is over, I should go to Shanghai, and I will contact you at that time. Zhang Yan told Zhang Yingshe about the upcoming itinerary in advance. Okay, I'll wait for you. Zhang Yingshe said with a smile. The phone call ended just as Ling Wutang's goods arrived. Zhang Yan opened the box, and saw a wrinkled, ginseng-like worm lying quietly in the box. This bug has been dehydrated to ensure that it will not spoil for a long time. The original things in its body are also extremely well preserved. Zhang Yan dug open the snow worm with a fruit knife, and took out a translucent crystal nucleus from inside. This is the core of the snow light worms, and it is also the key to forming the space domain after they gather together. Zhang Yan took out the magic weapon of space and added it to the synthesis table together with the core of the snow worm. At this time, a new option appeared in the synthesis table. Find an unknown space, you can upgrade it, and the upgrade will consume X1 of the snow lightworm core. Upgrade. Zhang Yan was shocked when he saw the system prompt. His original intention was to use the core of the snow lightworm to repair the magic weapon of space. Who knew that the universal synthesis table could directly upgrade the space? This is too bug. Space is also classified: mortal level, spiritual level, holy level, god level. This level is not only for space magic weapons, but also for all external spaces. For example, the current Earth is evolving from the mortal level to the spiritual level. This is because the Earth is connected with the higher space, the world of the heavens, so this transformation began to appear slowly. The world of the heavens is not a single world, but is composed of a large number of planes. Among them, spaces from the mortal level to the god level exist. The connection with the earth this time is a high-level spiritual space. The mortal space is the earth 300 years ago. After connecting with the spiritual level space, a large amount of spiritual energy poured into the earth, and some low-level monsters gradually appeared on the earth, as well as spiritual flowers and herbs, natural materials and earthly treasures. This is the beginning of the transition to the spiritual level space. If this continues, the earth will completely become a spiritual level space in 100 years or so. These are all normal phenomena. But this is the first time Jang Yan has heard of the upgrade of the magic weapon of space. Because the materials for refining the space magic weapon were fixed from the very beginning. It can't be said, start refining with mortal level space materials, and then add a little other materials to see if it can rise to the spirit level. There is no such possibility at all. Between the two is a class that cannot be crossed at all. But the universal synthesis platform has broken this rule. As long as it is the material of the space system, it seems that the magic weapon of space can be upgraded. If he is still playing the game, it is almost no different from the cracked version. Of course, in reality, this will only be more perverted. Let's see to what extent the magic weapon of space can be upgraded. If it can only be upgraded but not repaired, for me, such a small area is not very useful. Jang Yan knows exactly what he needs. For him at present, he needs a space that can hold living things. If the space magic weapon can't be repaired, what's the use of being promoted to the spirit level? With such a small area, it is difficult to squeeze a person in. Jang Yan looked at the synthesis table again. The system continues to prompt. Do you want to upgrade the unknown space? Yes. The upgrade is successful. The upgrade progress of the unknown space is 0.01%. Jang Yan quickly took out the magic weapon and checked it, only to see that the collapsed hut in the space had completely disappeared, leaving behind a space wrapped in white mist. This space is about 1 cubic meter, and a trace of spiritual energy can be faintly seen flowing in it. The area has become bigger. Jang Yan's eyes lit up. And with only 0.01% progress, you can see the existence of aura. Upgrading to a spiritual level space is just around the corner. But how much will it cost? Jang Yan did a simple multiplication and found that it takes 1 billion. That's how many zeros. Billion. Gone. Where is he going to get so much money? But if you think about it carefully, 1 billion can be exchanged for 1 spirit level space, which is really cost effective. As long as they are capable, they are willing to exchange even if they lose their fortune. So there is nothing wrong with the universal synthesizer. The fault is that he is poor. Forget it, I don't want to think about the spiritual space for now. Jang Yan classifies space magic weapon and Shenmai pill as one item. There are many difficulties in combining these two items due to various reasons. The magic weapon of space is because there is no money. Shenmai pill is due to insufficient upper limit of spiritual power. But this is all temporary. There is no money to make, and the upper limit of spiritual power is not enough to practice hard. One day, none of this will be a problem. But now he still has 700,000 or 800,000 in his hand. Jang Yan plans to use all of it to buy snow worms. First, make the space a little bigger, so that at least you can put things there, and it won't just be used as a decoration. The next day, Jang Yan took the initiative to call Lu Janai. He used 8 snow light worms last night to upgrade the space magic weapon to about 5 square meters. Now the wallet is empty. But Jang Yan is not in a hurry. Although the wallet was empty, he still had 5 advanced second-grade Qi and blood pills, 10 advanced second-grade Wangyu pills, and 10 advanced second-grade green jade pills. If it is sold to Lingwutang, the price will undoubtedly be lowered. Before trying it out, Lingwu Hall had no way of knowing the effect of the pill. So he had to find a buyer by himself. Isn't Lu Janai a ready-made customer? If you have money, you have enough trust in him, you have a demand for that aspect, and at the same time the college entrance examination is approaching, you also urgently need to improve your strength. If you're lucky, you might be able to pack and sell them all. In this way, when he went to Shanghai after graduation, he would have to have an 8-figure cash in his hand. At that time, it will be enough to upgrade the magic weapon of space and buy a suite in Shanghai. Jang Yan didn't wait long before Lu Janai found the hotel where he was staying. Master, didn't you say that you have something good in your hand? Show me quickly. As soon as he entered the room, Lu Janai couldn't wait to ask. Seeing Jang Yan's methods yesterday, he has already admired Jang Yan's 5-body surrender. Since Jang Yan said it was a good thing, it must not be much worse. Jang Yan took out the 3 elixirs prepared in advance. This is a formula passed down from my ancestors, and it is never sold to outsiders easily. If young Master Lu is interested, you can try it. Pillion. Lu Janai was a little disappointed. His family was not short of money, and he had always eaten pills as jelly beans since he was a child. Otherwise, he wouldn't have a third-class cultivation talent, and he had reached the strength of a warrior in his 2nd year of high school. But since Jang Yan specially invited him over, he couldn't help but give Jang Yan face. Master, please set a price. If the price is right, I will buy it. Lu Janai said boldly without even asking Jang Yan about the efficacy of the elixir. This time Jang Yan helped his uncle out of trouble, and he got a lot of benefits for it. Just a few pills. He bought it as a thank you gift to Jang Yan. Master Lu, don't worry, Master Lu can try these 3 pills first. If you are not satisfied with the effect, I won't charge you a cent. Jang Yan said calmly. Master, you can't do business like this. If you meet someone who likes to take advantage of you and refuses to pay you after taking your elixir, wouldn't it mean that you won't get any money? Lu Janai disagreed very much. Even Jang Yan's elixir works really well. But he can deny it at all. Eat it up and leave, Jang Yan can't do anything to him. Others may, but young Master Lu certainly won't. Jang Yan smiled lightly. He is very clear about the effects of these elixirs. When the time comes, Lu Janai will only think that he has too few pills in his hand. Especially the advanced version of the Qi and Blood pill. After Lu Janai tried it once, it was impossible for him to quit. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.